Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Your Average Critics, joined today by Obi, Ollie and sporadically Chris, because he's making a pizza.
He's in the kitchen.
Yep. So we've been away for a couple of weeks, Reading Festival.
Whoa. Yes. Best act.
Eminem. Although shout out to Loyal Kana for doing a very good live set, which is better than his actual recorded stuff. But yeah. Who's your favourite?
That's just how it works, isn't it? Sometimes it's much better live, but
yeah.
I can imagine anyone who uses auto-tune is shit live. Or of those kind of pop stars where it's probably Rihanna, Taylor Swift, all of the poppy pop ones.
What's his name? The guy named Fuse. I heard Fuse live and he's rubbish.
Really?
He's rubbish live.
Did he play your uni Freshers Week?
Yeah. And he's rubbish. Because obviously he kind of sings, but it's auto-tune sort of singing.
Yeah.
So obviously when you do it about the auto-tune, it just sounds like deadpan singing. And
we watched Migos and they were dreadful.
Really?
Yeah. So not only did some random DJ come out and do the first 20 minutes, but he played.
Best DJ in the world.
He
played that about 100 times.
He played other people's songs which were better than their own. So he started playing Mask Off and then Kendrick Lamar, and everyone was like, "Ah!" And then he started playing a Migos song, and everyone was like, And then Quavo and whoever the other people were would say every other lyric. So I mean, there was the backing track was saying all the words, and then they just go dropped up, crack pop, that, and you're just it's just zero effort. So.
One of them, Quavo can moonwalk though. I don't know if you've seen the video of him moonwalking on stage. It's pretty cool. But yeah.
But they just looked like they didn't really want to be there. Zero effort.
Just getting the money in it, and then you just what's it, an hour set? I imagine.
Oh, is that half hour? 45 minutes?
Yeah.
And the thing is, they played during the day, and that's the sort of thing you want to hear when it's pitch black and the lights.
And you're on Molly and Percocet.
Exactly. That probably would have livened it up a bit. What have you been doing the last couple of weekends? Anything?
Driving range, innit?
I went to the driving range, yeah.
Beefing up his...
That's it, really.
His round
I'm getting
strokes.
good, I'm gonna be at the US Open or whatever it's called soon. I don't know if is that tennis or is that golf? I think it's both, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the Masters.
I'll be your caddy.
I get my green coat and that.
Nice.
Scotland gone Trump's they just do a shit in the sand.
Okay, so what's happened since the last podcast is the final episode of Series 7 of Game of Thrones.
Should we wait for Chris is back to talk about this?
Well, he wants to go and...
Should we talk about something that Chris hasn't seen?
Alright, fine.
Because I feel like he'll be aggrieved if he comes back and we've already spoken
What
about
hasn't he seen? What do we know he hasn't seen?
Inhumans.
Alright.
Tell us about Inhumans then.
We're not just going to go down this list, are we? There's 20 films.
Yeah, why not?
That's so long.
We'll dip in and out.
We talked about, the last episode we talked about an hour for 2 episodes of Game of Thrones.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
Right. On the list is another episode of Game of Thrones, which was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I don't have all day.
So, that's gonna take up a chunk, but the rest of them are only going to be...
We need to wait for Chris to come back.
Inhumans is only literally going to talk about for about 2 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And spoil it if you want, because I really don't give a shit about it.
Okay, cool. So, Inhumans has been... I think it's supposed to be some sort of spin-off of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but Chris said that there's been mentioned on that loads. And I think it was originally going to be a film. But then
they announced it when they announced their Phase 3 slate.
Yeah.
And
So, but then I don't know why, but they decided against it and decided to make it into a TV show. And then they showed the first 2 episodes in an IMAX, a feature-length thingy. I think it was 80 minutes in total. But yeah, everyone's been going on about how myself included, about how crap it looks and the trailers look awful, and they do. But then I watched it. I tried to go into films with an open mind. I watched it, and it's not actually that bad. And I thought it was decent. And it's only 8 episodes, so I'll probably watch it.
Must be more
when it comes out.
Expensive to make 8 episodes as opposed to just 1 film, though.
Yeah. I guess.
But if you think it's going to be more successful as a TV show, then you're probably going to do it as a TV show. Because they thought it would flop as a film. And I think, to be fair, it might have flopped as a film as well. Unless you were going to do a series of films. If you were just going to do 1 film, then I thought it probably would have been kind of rubbish.
Yeah, I was saying, this is the best time. If you into script writing, this is the best time to make something shit or whatever. Netflix will give you the money and you can fucking produce it.
Yeah, well, this is an ABC thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
AMC, ABC,
ABC, yeah.
CD.
So it's the same as all the Marvel Netflix shows and the Marvel ones that are on like ABC. They're all produced by ABC, but obviously some of them are just on Netflix. Some of them are on like Hulu, and some of them are on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So even the Defenders is an ABC.
Yeah, Defenders ABC as well.
Oh,
so,
okay.
The showrunners that did Iron Fist are the same as the showrunners that did Inhumans. So I think that's also one of the reasons why people think that it was going to be a bit rubbish. But I'd say it's okay. And if I compare the first 2 episodes of this to the first 2 episodes of Legion, for example, which everyone was raving about, I still haven't finished it. I think it's 8 episodes. I've only done.
Really?
I've only watched 7. Like it's not bad, but I don't have any urge to finish watching it. But I prefer the first 2 episodes of Inhumans. Personally.
Does it look cinematic? Because my issue with the first episode of Legion and also the first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is because it just looked the budget. You could tell the budget was really low.
Yeah.
Or low comparatively. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't look cinematic really.
Okay.
It's not like amazing or anything. And
What's the plot?
The plot is there's like a word of some sort of thing that's in some humans. I can't remember what it's called. It begins with a T, like some sort of thing, substance or G or genetic disorder or whatever it is.
I'm trying to think of a joke.
Some beginning with a T. So I think ages ago, all these people who had this gene, and then that gives them like some sort of mutation or power, blah blah blah. They call themselves Inhumans. So then to stop themselves from being like targeted by humans, they moved to the moon. Like the thing.
What?
What?
They
moved to the dark side.
That was quite. That escalated quickly.
No, this all happens before.
Like, usually you're like, oh, I'm gonna move region, city. I'm like, fuck this planet.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to the moon.
But like, so I think that's like centuries before the present was happening. Again, you can leave it. It's okay. It's not going to stop. And so in the present day, you've got like a royal family they're all on the moon. They're all settled and they're all like calm. And then there's people on Earth who like, I think they said there's something in the water that's like bringing out the mutation gene in some people who haven't been like laid dormant because of like their ancestors were Inhumans or whatever. So then now there's some Inhumans popping up on Earth and they're basically just being killed.
Okay.
So the king on, I think it's called Atalan, sends one of his cousins or part of his king's guard.
Fucking hell, Chris!
Entrance.
God, we know you're there.
But so yeah, the king sends one of his cousins down to Earth to try and like rescue these people, get them to like a safe spot. But basically, they're just being targeted and killed by humans. And so the king's brother Maximus, who's played by Ramsay Bolton, Ewan Rion, he is basically he's an Inhuman, but he hasn't got any abilities, so he's basically human. So he's kind of like an outcast, and you can tell he feels really like, grieved about it because everyone's basically saying like you're a waste man.
He's playing the same character as he did in Misfits.
Not exactly. He's a bit more charismatic in this than he is in.
So he's human, but he can survive on the moon.
Yeah.
Without.
So he's not human. He's inhuman, but he has no powers.
Yeah.
He's an uninhuman,
basically. Yeah. So yeah, like on like people's like 16th birthday, I think they go into like this chamber, and then it gets like something happens, and basically, and then your mutant.
Oh, you pull a dagger, I think, because that's what it is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, whatever your mutant ability is, it should come out. So I think a boy and a girl, his brother and sister went into it. One of them come out, she had like wings. The other come out, and he seemingly had nothing. But then, because Ramsay Bolton, Maximus is his name. So Maximus felt sorry for him because he was like, oh, the same thing happened to me. So he like touches the kid, and the kid just like starts spazzing out, and basically he has a vision saying to Maximus, oh, I saw you in the future. There were snakes all around you. They had you up against the wall. Blah blah blah.
So is that Medusa?
Yeah. So he was like, oh, okay, whatever. Then so we find out that Maximus is kind of like trying to turn the people, that because they do it in a sort of hard. So basically, if you don't have powers, or if your powers are useless, you're like a manual labour worker. So you're like underground, like mining and all shit like that.
But
what's the use of power?
Not being able to fucking speak.
Well,
that's a useless power.
Yeah, but his power is pretty useful. If someone came to attack you, he'd just be like, hello. And
literally, so they, just before.
I love that.
No, this bit is so funny. This bit is so funny. So just before I'm going to skip. So basically, Maximus is like planning a revolt against the king because he wants to go down to Earth and take it over. Okay. He's saying like, we're Inhumans, we're more powerful than them, natural selection, blah blah blah. We should go down to Earth and take it over. But the king, Black Bolt, he's like, no, we can't do that. Blah,
How did you tell him that?
He communicates with. He does sign language with Medusa. So
she right on a piece of paper.
Yeah, just get Siri to do it.
He basically, she just like relays everything else to him.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I think she might be the only one who can understand it. They might have their own like little secret sign language or something. But sorry, I just want to tell you. Do you remember Breakout Kings? Do you remember the girl in Breakout Kings?
Yeah, Sarah. Yeah.
I was looking at it for ages, thinking I definitely know who you are, but I couldn't figure out who it was. I had to Google it afterwards. But yeah, so. Yeah, she's all like, basically, her and Maximus used to like be mates back in the day, and he basically like loves her. So he's like saying like, you should have be with me instead of my brother. Then she gets up against the wall with her hair, and then he sees, oh, that's the snake prediction thing coming true. So then he knows that kid can predict the future. So then he basically plans his whole revolt, and he takes over Atalan, and they have to get Black Bolt and his wife have to get Medusa's sister. I can't remember her name, but she's basically got this big dog called Lockjaw that can transport people from wherever to wherever. So he transport the Black Bolt, his wife, and the whole like the King's Guard, all of them to Earth, but they're all in different places.
Okay.
So they have to like, I think part of the second part of the episode is them just trying to find each other because they're all on some part of.
Was this episode 1 and episode 2 that you watched, or was it just episode
1 and 2?
Yeah.
So like, they're all on some part of Hawaii trying to find each other, and then. Just before Black Bolt gets transported to Earth, Maximus is about to kill him, and he's like to him, "Are you gonna open your mouth and kill me like you killed our parents?" And then it flashes back to Black Bolt when he's young, and it's basically just his parents are standing in front of him. I think they're shouting at him, and he just says, "Why?" And he just obliterates them and kills them.
Oh God!
And then you just start seeing the remains on the wall. Oh, it was hilarious. I was literally cracking up. It was hilarious.
God!
But
you sicko.
It was. I'm sorry. It was so.
It
was so funny. I'm not sure if it's because it was just so dumb that it made me laugh. But yeah, that's it. So then Maximus is trying to take over. He gets the people on side by giving up his whole big charismatic speech. And now I think he's going to plan to go down to Earth to try and kill the rest of the King's Guard. Because he's basically spun a story to all the people that the King's Guard have like run away, rather than he's like obviously attacking them.
Yeah.
So then we get to Earth with Black Bolt, and he's basically like, he doesn't know where he is. Obviously he's got his wrist thing to contact Medusa.
Watching it.
Yeah, literally to contact Medusa, but he can't speak. So the only thing he can do is let her know that she's alive. So he just puts the thing up to his heart so she can hear his heart beating. So she's like, okay, cool, you're alive. Then they try to find each other. He sees, because they're dressed in like random clothes. He goes to a shop and basically shoplifts a suit, and people are trying to attack him, and he's just like fucking them up basically. And then the police come. And they were trying to fuck him up, and they're like, they taser him, and basically gets taken to prison because he shoplifted. Obviously, he's a king, so he's thinking, I'd have to pay for this. I'll just put it on and walk away. But he's literally Mr. Bean. I find it so funny.
Mr. Bean?
Yeah. Like, if you watch Mr. Bean, right? Yeah. Like, he's just silent, but like his facial expressions, because he doesn't really know what's going on. So like, people are like attacking him, and he's just like giving like these proper confused faces, and like someone will like point a gun at him, and he'll just like disarm them, look at the gun, throw it away, and then they basically take him to prison, and he's basically like, what's going on, sort of thing. So then they're all kind of him and his King's Guard, they're all just trying to find each other, and then some woman comes to Earth to try and kill Medusa. Oh, sorry, I missed that quite a big bit. So Maximus shaves off Medusa's hair, so she hasn't got her power basically, and then she's like kind of crying. I think she looks good with a shaved head, or whatever. But so yeah, then he sends someone to Earth to come and kill her, but she fights her and stabs her, and then like goes to find Black Bolt, but then that girl can heal herself, which we find out like right at the end credits, and so yeah, she heals herself, then calls for backup, and that basically ends.
Okay, doesn't sound amazing, to be honest.
Doesn't sound bad, doesn't sound amazing.
That's the thing, it's not, like I'm saying, it's, like I said earlier, it's not amazing, but it's not awful. It's okay.
Basically, they could have probably just done a film and it would have been...
No, I think it'd be better as a TV show.
Why do you not feel like the film would have been enough?
Because it's not enough time in the film to kind of show all the...
But then, like, in the film, would you need like a lackey going down to Earth? You probably wouldn't. You'd just probably have Maximus going down to Earth.
Because they kind of...
Or would you have,
powers,
or would you
so
have
going down to Earth would be useless.
Or would you have Earth at all? Maybe would you have just a revolt? Just a whole thing.
Yeah, because they managed to do the Guardians of the Galaxy, in a film. That worked.
Are there not enough superhero things come out.
What a shot. You're always complaining about superhero stuff.
So they filmed this with IMAX, didn't they?
Yeah.
Can you see the scale difference between like Legion or Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and this? Like, does it actually look better than a TV show but just worse than a film, or does it just look like a TV show?
I think it looks the same, but I want to have a very trained eye compared to other people.
Is that like 4K to normal?
Yeah,
you can't really tell the difference between 4K, can you, and HD?
But yeah,
isn't it?
I think it's alright. It's only 8 episodes, so I'll probably watch it.
I'll probably watch it as well.
Okay, well then let's talk about another Marvel-related TV show.
No.
The Defenders.
Oh, yeah.
Have you seen it, Chris?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Obes, you've seen?
Yeah.
We've both seen all of it.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Yeah, it's a good TV series. Not I would say.
What's it about?
Well, it's literally. So, have you seen Daredevil season 2?
Yeah.
So it's basically the hand, which is we find out 5 people, which would make sense as there's 5 fingers on a hand.
That's true. Well, 4 and a thumb.
Yeah. Well, it's a thumb finger, so maybe that one's the boss. I don't know. But basically, you got Madam Gal, the bloke from Iron Fist. Oh, I've forgotten his name.
Bloke from Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Bakuto,
and then you got these other. You got another 2 guys.
Alexandra Sawando.
And the main one.
And the Japanese guy, I can't remember his name because he doesn't speak English.
Okay.
There. So you got 5 of them, and their thing is they resurrect Elektra, but as Black Sky, and she's meant to be this like weapon who just can't be defeated, and
she's basically supposed to be supposed to be the hand's version of Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Oh. Okay.
And basically they think that because she's died, she's got no soul, and they just input this soul, but because they pushed their plans forward by 3 months, it seems that she does have a soul still, but she's still a bit fucking wacko. Excuse my language. And then it's just like the collective of like having these people just come together pretty much accidentally.
So the people that come together are
Iron Fist, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Daredevil.
Okay.
But like, so Daredevil's on his own little mission, and he's being watched by another company. Well, it's a friend's company. So the woman from Jessica Jones, the lawyer woman.
Is that the blonde woman?
No.
The one who's in the Matrix.
Yeah, her.
Okay.
So she's like to Daredevil's mate, who's no longer Foggy
Nelson.
He's no longer working with Daredevil. They've split, and he's working for this company. And she said, "Oh, keep an eye on him." So then he's like trying not to be Daredevil anymore, but he can't help it. Then Jessica Jones bumps into him, sees that.
It's because Jessica Jones got arrested.
Jessica Jones got arrested because she was at a scene of a murder, and she stole some evidence.
And Foggy gives Daredevil her case.
Yeah, her case, and then they meet, and then as he's taking her out, like saying like, "Oh, we got to talk about this a bit later." He like runs off to save someone. No, I think I'm getting all confused.
I think she's basically like fuck off, you're not my lawyer.
Yeah.
And then she ends up following him because she's kind of like, this guy's a bit strange, and then she sees him doing all the flips and shit, like doing his Daredevil nonsense, and she kind of like deduces that he's Daredevil.
And then Luke Cage, being Luke Cage, is just trying to stop people from doing stupid things in Harlem.
Just come out of prison.
Yeah, and he's just come out of prison, so he did his time for whatever he was meant to have done previously. And so
did he do that voluntarily?
Yeah, he chose to go to prison.
Yeah, because he could just break that.
Right.
Because he was like, I think he said like,
with the handcuffs,
are they necessary?
Yeah.
But so he's going to save this kid because this kid's doing a clean-up job for a company, and basically he's gone to go and save this kid. While Devil's gone to basically kick the. Iron Fist has gone to kick the crap out of these people because they're like working for the hand, and then they bump into each other. He's trying to beat Luke Cage. He can't do nothing. Then he does the Iron Fist and like knocks Luke Cage to one side, but it doesn't really do too much. Luke Cage literally just gets back up and is like, okay, right, let's party basically.
Okay.
And then so they split again, and then they eventually come back together because of the nurse lady. I've forgotten all their names, man. Claire. And then they go into this office where there's a big meeting happening, and then Jessica Jones and Daredevil are doing the exact same, and that's where the first all 4 of them meet, isn't it?
Mm.
And then that's where you see Daredevil sees a bit of like Elektra still inside of her, and then they meet at this Chinese place. They talk it out. Daredevil's keeping secrets. I'm not really sure why.
Is Wilson Fisk in this?
No, but the blind dude Stick. Mate, it's good job he's here, mate. Telling me on the yeah, and it's basically just like that's the crux of the beginning, and then it's literally the journey of them like trusting each other, trying to defeat the hand, each for their own different purposes, And then the one bit that stumped me, and I think you were saying the same, like, the whole idea was they wanted to get the Iron Fist, not kill him, they wanted to get him, and my belief was to make an entrance to Kum Lao, which is where Iron Fist is from. But they capture him, and they trick him into punching this wall, or he's having a fight and he punches this wall. And I assume they were going to be like some... Because basically they can't get through it without the Iron Fist. And he punches through it, and there's nothing there. It's just the rest of the cave. And you're like, what? I thought it was going to be some like portal. And they actually walk through it as well, and nothing happens.
Oh.
Because for the whole series, all the people in hand saying, "Oh, we need to get back to Kunlun," or whatever it's called. And so me and Chris are thinking, okay, so this must be like some sort of magical portal back to Kunlun, so they can do whatever it is they want to do. But then literally just punches through this wall, and then it's just like dragon bones. So I think they needed dragon bones. So basically,
to get the bone marrow,
these people, basically the people in the hand, they've been alive for centuries, and so they're running out of. They use the last of whatever keeps them alive to use on Elektra to make her Black Sky, whatever.
Which is a silly idea.
So then they've got none of this stuff left. So I think the purpose of it was they wanted to get more of this substance so they keep living, and they needed Iron Fist for that for some reason. But then they were saying they wanted to go back to Kunlun, but we're not really sure why, because they didn't seem they needed to. So that their purpose of whatever it is they wanted was a bit confusing.
Unless there's some kind of like fountain of youth there that I'm not aware of.
Well, so like the people in... They're
originally from there,
yeah, they're originally from there, so they broke... Because the people wanted to use the substance, this is what they call it, to, I think, to heal people. And then basically those 5 were like, no, allow that, we want to use it to be alive forever, sort of thing. So they kind of like broke away and they formed the hand. And they've been against the... What are they called? The Chase or whatever they're called.
The Chase.
For centuries.
Yeah.
So yeah, their whole reasoning was a bit unclear.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really annoyed me about the series, the reasoning behind it all. But the main character, evil character,
Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, she was dying. She had cancer, I believe, and she was going to die. And then Elektra kills her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So like that, she's led to believe that she's got Elektra completely under control.
Yeah, like that, mate.
But Elektra
So does Sigourney die at the end?
She dies in episode 6.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you mind if we spoil any more? Or are you going to watch it?
Spoiled quite a major thing. It doesn't matter. I will watch it, but I don't really care for it.
Oh. Can I
carry on?
Carry on.
Basically, all but one of the hand are left at the end of it.
Is it the middle finger?
It might be. Madam Gal might be the middle finger.
That'd be joke.
Literally, one of the guys was dying there, and she was like, "I'll see you in another life" or something like that. And then one of the guys gets their head chopped off. Another guy.
2 of them get their
head chopped off.
Does that?
Because if they get stabbed, they can come back to life. So it kind of they need to. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But then that makes me think that the guy who got buried under all the rubble might be still alive as well.
Yeah.
It just might take them a bit of time to.
Okay. So does Elektra become good again?
You don't know.
But go on, Chris.
No, you said the ending because the ending was so silly.
They do this big fight at the end, yeah, and they're all in this building, some sort of bank. They're underneath it, and they're basically like, we need to destroy everyone in this, because basically everyone in this building is evil. So they get loads of C4, and in the building they're like, okay, we're going to blow it up. And whilst they're all fighting, Daredevil's basically like to everyone else, like, go, sort of thing. I'll take care of it. I'll be right behind you. So they all leave, and then the building explodes. And Daredevil and Elektra like fighting, but they're also like kissing, because obviously they're like in love with each other. Like that's one of the main tropes of the series, is that like Daredevil obviously is still in love with Elektra, but he obviously has to fight her because she's like evil, and he doesn't really want to tell the others that, you know, they used to go out or whatever. So yeah, they're just fighting and they're kissing, and then all the rubble comes down, and so we're led to believe that they both died, but that's not the case.
I must admit, this series as a collective. So like Iron Fist, I really just didn't like. But then when you read about why the fight scenes weren't as good, is because he was doing it like on the spot on that day, and the fight scenes in this were so much better. I can't stress how much better they were.
The people who showrun this one were the same ones who did Daredevil season 2.
Yeah.
Daredevil season 2 for me is the best.
I don't know. I think number 1 was. I really like number 1.
Daredevil season 1 was awful. I think it was so boring, so slow. Oh my god! Literally, it took me ages to get through that. Ugh.
To be fair,
You shouldn't watch Westworld.
I like. Not that I didn't like Luke Cage before. I like Luke Cage a lot bit more now from this series as well, because like he's developed. He's not. And the other one, I feel like he was portrayed to be such a like nice guy, like everything. But this one, you can see his other side, and he's like. But then, because they got to create a relationship between him and Iron Fist, because in the comics they're like best mates, and in this you can see it like developing. Like
it's like a big brother, little brother.
Yeah, he'll listen to Iron Fist and like try and calm him down, because Iron Fist is very temperamental.
Okay.
He's like
I
very
thought
childlike.
Iron Fist is supposed to be good.
Yeah, he is good. But he's very temperamental.
So one thing that really annoyed me about this whole thing is that obviously I don't know the history behind it, but you know when Daredevil and Iron Fist fought, I would have thought that Iron Fist should have beat him really easily, but Daredevil basically kind of like beat him pretty much.
I don't know because I feel like they both had similar amounts of. Oh no, yeah, similar.
I don't know. I just thought to be the immortal Iron Fist.
Yeah, there's so many memes about him, isn't there?
Did he use his Iron Fist on Daredevil? He did, and then
he used it on Luke Cage. Yeah,
there was like a massive shockwave.
There's loads of parodies of like Iron Fist saying I'm the immortal Iron Fist. Blah, blah,
he
blah,
does
blah.
say it.
Yeah, he says that quite a lot. It's quite funny.
There's a lot of love relationships in this as well. So like you saw Jessica and Luke talk about how they used to be like lovers, but they it's only like hinted at.
What about Misty Knight? Is she gel?
Oh, Misty Knight.
She gets her arm chopped off.
Yeah, and that leads the way for the
Daughters of the Dragon,
which is her and the lady from Iron Fist.
Colleen Wing.
Okay.
Colleen Wing and Iron Fist still have their relationship.
These names.
But it's
like
a bit
football. You remember names like that?
Because I watched it. Because I watched
Colin's not sure where she wants to go with all of it.
Brain.
Then you've got to see the Doctor Lady. I can't remember.
Do the four have good chemistry?
I would say so.
Okay. And do you think there'll be a season 2 of the Defenders?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
well,
the ending is basically setting up for Daredevil season 3.
Yeah.
The very ending.
Okay.
You don't see really much of what happens with Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. They kind of just
already,
go to normal way.
Because they're all renewed for new series.
Yeah.
So Kilgrave is back in Jessica Jones series 2, which is confusing.
I would have thought it'd be maybe it's a flashback. I don't think it's a
flashback. I reckon he's in her head.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because he's like that. So then he's going to get her to take her to his body and put him back inside or some bullshit like that. I don't know.
But I think because one of the things that Daredevil said to Iron Fist before he ran off and the building exploded was like protect my city, and then they showed Iron Fist in kind of like a Daredevil sort of position. You know, he's on top of the roof, looking over the city. They kind of showed Iron Fist doing that, so maybe Iron Fist going to protect Hell's Kitchen for a little bit or something like that.
Okay. Alright, I will watch it. I just haven't really got around to it. I still haven't finished fucking House of Cards. It's so boring.
You're so waste, bro.
It's so boring.
I must admit, it has got a little bit drag on.
I liked it.
Talking about dragons.
I'm sorry, no.
Yes. Come on. That is a sick segue.
That is awful.
That is a sick segue.
Dragons.
That was good.
Thank you, Ollie. Appreciate that. So, we were going to start at the beginning of the episode talking about Game of Thrones, but Obi said that we needed to wait till you got here, Chris.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks,
episode 7 of series 7 of Game of Thrones.
Boom!
It all kicked off.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm like, because I wasn't here for your last podcast, so I'm assuming you explained how dumb the last episode was and all this sugar honey ice tea.
Yeah.
This one wasn't that much smarter, if I'm honest, but it was smarter.
Your predictions did not come true.
No.
How do you feel?
Completely wrong.
Mine came.
I don't mind.
I told you to get together, but I think everyone knew that.
Oh, everyone knew that. Bit of incest. Love that.
I quite enjoyed it.
Never been so happy.
I thought it was pretty good.
So let's recap what happens in this episode. So this episode. This episode starts with them in the Dragon Pit. So it's the meeting between Jon, Dany, Jorah.
All the big characters.
Theon versus Cersei.
But then Mr. and Mrs. can't be in the same room together. What's their name? Cersei and Bronn.
Bronn and Cersei. Don't know how true that is.
Off-screen argument.
But, so they have a meeting. They're there to talk about the treaty, to kind of work together to kill the threat in the north, which is the White Walkers and the Whites.
Which they
and then
bring proof of.
Yep, so they bring the...
Which I didn't think anything was going to happen. I honestly
thought
I thought,
same. I thought that guard was going to open it.
Box.
So
that would have been better, because then it would have been an outbreak of like these creatures going around Cersei's island.
It seems to be going quite well, and Cersei's like, I will do it if you... So she says to Jon, if you kind of...
Just don't get involved.
Just don't get involved between the queens. And he's like, I can't do it. I'm loyal. And then Cersei's like, fuck you. All right then. And then Tyrion goes to convince her.
I thought he was going to...
I thought he was going to die.
He has made some dodgy plan with her. I know it.
Is it because of that end scene though?
I heard a thing. So
because you said that.
I reckon you're about to say.
I think we're all thinking the same thing.
Go on.
So hang on. Let's just explain the situation a bit more. So Cersei retires back to her chambers. Kind of feels like Jon's ruined the treaty because he wouldn't betrayed Daenerys, which gets her so wet. And then Tyrion goes to kind of make peace, and he's like, look, it'll be fine, just let me talk to them. But then throughout this, doesn't Tyrion say to Jon, you could have just lied to make the situation better? And I feel that might lead on to what
No,
we're going to talk about what Tyrion said to Cersei.
No.
Oh, well...
The thing about Jon, just because, like, he's not he's Ned Stark's son. So, like,
yeah, but he ain't Ned Stark, mate. Come on, he's got to be one on his own.
He's not even Ned Stark's son.
Well, but like, obviously he's not, but he is.
Ned Stark's nephew.
Yeah, like, he's literally
Son.
him, but, because, like, that's, like, the most... He's supposed to be the most noble person in Game of Thrones, so that's why I think he's probably going to be the most deserving, which would kind of make it kind of cliche if he's the one who ends up on the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Also, I've got a little secret to tell you.
Yeah.
He's not a bastard.
Oh, shit!
Okay, so then Tyrion and Cersei come back out, and Cersei's like, okay, fine, look, I know that this threat in the north is legit, I'll help you. And then...
Well, bit, I read a rumour about that bit, and someone has a theory, and it sounds so far-fetched to me, that Tyrion's made a deal with Cersei, so that Cersei makes it so that Daenerys is on the throne, and then her newborn will be the heir to the throne afterwards.
How that wouldn't work because they're different families.
That's what I said. That doesn't make sense.
They wouldn't work because they're different families.
Yeah, but that's the deal.
How would it work?
As soon as Daenerys, because Daenerys can't have kids.
Well, I reckon Jon's gonna have impregnated her.
Probably.
But then she's probably gonna die.
Well, I heard that because Tyrion has told Jon, like, just lie, that he basically just said to Cersei, look, just tell them what they want to hear.
But
because afterwards,
she has said that, hasn't she? Like,
yeah, but it turns out she says to Jaime towards the end of the episode, don't send the troops north.
Well, why would Tyrion agree to say lie?
Because he just wants the peace.
Oh, because he knows he's got a nephew coming on the way.
No, but he wants to end the... exactly. So
do we know that's actually going to happen?
He wants to end the White Walkers.
She might have been playing him.
I think she's playing the joke.
He knows about the White Walkers, so he was thinking, okay, we need to put an end to this. So why would he not want Cersei to send her troops to the north?
Well, maybe he knows that Jaime would still send them north.
No, I don't think Tyrion's made that kind of deal. No.
Okay.
I reckon Tyrion wants to stop it.
Well, anyway, so Cersei tells Jaime not to send the troops north, but Jaime kind of betrays her and says...
And then that scene again.
Yeah, I genuinely thought the man was about to cut Jaime's head off.
I was gonna fucking flip out. I was be like, you cannot kill Jaime.
It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was literally screaming like, oh shit!
So what's the...
When he was like... You were bluffing.
Someone actually had a theory as well, because you know that thing with Daenerys, she's got the 3 things which will betray her, like
love, money, and blood.
And so blood and money are technically betrayed her, because the guy who wanted all the money and
that's love, brother, isn't it? Yeah.
So love left.
I thought it was blood left.
Blood. Yeah, I thought it was blood.
Her brother is blood, and her brother isn't.
Her brother doesn't betray her.
I thought. Oh, either way, blood or love, this will still work technically, I suppose, because she considers her dragons her babies.
Right.
And one of her dragons has changed.
Oh, okay.
So maybe her dragons betrayed her.
That's an interesting theory. It also kind of dispels the theory that the 3 dragon riders would be Tyrion, Jon, and Daenerys.
Where does it come out that Tyrion is actually...
Well,
it didn't come out. It's just a theory.
It's just a rumor.
It's just a theory.
Oh,
to be fair,
theory.
I mean, if he turns into a White Walker, then...
Oh, that'd be sick.
So the thing that I heard...
he is the real White Walker. This is half of his body.
The thing that I heard was that, so they focused quite a bit on basically Tyrion apologising for Marcella and Tom dying. And he said, like, you know how much I love those children, blah, 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 blah. So then when he finds out that Cersei's pregnant, so I think maybe... what they said was maybe that Tyrion had basically made a deal to flip on Daenerys, basically to protect his future nephew, I suppose.
Okay.
Because of how guilty he felt for Tom and Marcella dying, which was indirectly his fault, and obviously he didn't want that to happen again. So that sort of thing.
Okay.
I don't know how true that would be, but I hope he doesn't, because I really would hope that Tyrion didn't turn on Daenerys.
I feel like he's been a good character for the whole thing.
He's basically like us, like looking like we're kind of watching it through.
Who's this?
Through him. Kind of that Tyrion, yeah.
Why was he not smiling at that end scene then?
Because he wanted some of that.
I think he's a bit worried because nothing ever seems to go right when you collude like that.
So I think that he's worried because he can see kind of like himself losing an influence of power towards Daenerys, because he's able to convince her to, he's able to convince her to like, there's so many times where Daenerys is like, oh yeah, we're just gonna burn the whole city, and he's like, no, we need to do this, and she believes him. But then, so like when you get to the things like when Jorah's like, I think we should just ride the dragon to Winterfell or wherever it is they're going, and Jon's like, no, we should sail, and she's like, okay, we're gonna sail. So like you can see even Jorah's losing influence on us. I think if that relationship becomes even more like consummated, then he's gonna like completely lose all like say.
But then his say so far, what he said hasn't been wrong though, because like he told her not to burn down the whole village, and she just burnt an army, which I know is a bit middle ground, but there you go. And then he sailed, and that was probably the best idea out of all of them, wasn't it? For them to sail.
Sailing?
Well, they should have sailed as well.
Why was sailing the best idea?
Mate, it's just good idea.
It's easy to fly. Take about 5 minutes. According to all the
catch a few fish in it on the way. Bit of food.
If that wasn't the idea, it was sailing to show unity.
Wouldn't it be interesting if the future of Game of Thrones was Cersei's child versus Jon and Daenerys' child?
Like spin-off.
Yeah, spin-off. Come on, they're doing 5 of them. Well, 5 of them are in kind of development. And then what?
Really?
And then
think about the ending as well.
yeah. Well, so
we missed the whole chunk of the video. Let's go through that.
I was literally about to say, did any of you see that scene? Because I thought I saw it coming, but loads of people saying they didn't see it coming with Arya, Littlefinger.
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't,
because I thought.
Did you not?
No, because when they were doing it, I was thinking they portrayed Arya to be Sansa to be so dumb. So I was thinking, okay, she's gonna be just so fucking stupid. And I was so much happier when they turned it around. I was like,
yeah.
I just
so
thought
explain what the set pieces that you're talking about.
So basically, Sansa calls a meeting, and she calls for Arya to come into the meeting. And she starts the meeting by saying, basically, you want the throne, you want to take it off me, you're upset that blah, 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 all the shit that's happened, basically. Because there's a lot of shit that's happened she's been involved with.
But it's also because Littlefinger's been in her ear all series.
Yeah, true. And then all of a sudden, she turns and accuses Littlefinger of everything he actually has done.
Yeah, she's like, how would you plead, Littlefinger? And
I was like, literally. That was literally my reaction. I was literally getting on
and then like, you had Bran like backing her up. He was like, well, you did this, and this.
Yeah, like, Bran's just a great plot device, because he could just be like, oh yeah, I didn't do that. So he's like, yeah, you did.
But I think it's the way he did it though. He was like, yeah, you did this, and this, and he was like, and you could just see Littlefinger's face like, oh snap.
Yeah, he said, you said, oh, I will betray you or something about his father.
Yeah,
is that from a vision?
He said, no, in season one. Season 1, he said, I told you shouldn't trust me when he had that. Because, so I think he just went back and saw it.
He saw a lot of it, didn't he? But then,
so it makes me think that Bran can selectively now go back to.
Well, I think if someone tells him, so like the end scene, if someone tells him something, he can then go to that point, and if he knows where it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't think because he didn't know where that marriage and that.
But who would have told him about that Ned Stark thing? With the dagger up against his thing.
Maybe because he touched the dagger.
Oh yeah, maybe.
That Littlefinger gave him. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, because he did actually. Because he was saying it wasn't for him to have; it was for Arya. Yeah.
So then, how does it play out?
Well, then Arya just gets a little knife thingy. Oh no, the dagger. She got the dagger.
Yeah,
she slits his throat, and it was bare gory and butters. But
judge, jury, execution.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Seeing him just like plead like on his knees.
Yeah, he started begging. Yeah.
But I love you. I loved your mummy.
Yes, that's his character. He wants to be.
And
like,
he's wormy.
Yeah, he wants to be this powerful character, but really he's just proper sleazy and whiny, and he's just like not really got any power.
He literally,
but he managed to snake his way this far.
He could have literally just effed off like a season ago, and he would have been fine.
Yeah, but he wants power.
I didn't expect it, because I kind of thought he would probably survive till right to the end, just because he's that wily.
Well, I thought Arya's been way too more smug than usual. I thought maybe I'm just overestimating her or underestimating her. But I thought as soon as they turned and said Littlefinger, I thought he was just gonna be like, well, guards, you're gonna do something. But he turned to that one guy, and the one guy was just like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, mate.
They said that she killed what's her name? Thingy Aaron.
Lysa Arryn.
That's the one.
So now does that mean that Sansa is protector of the
realm?
Whatever their thing is.
What, the Vale?
The Vale.
She is, but I think...
No, it's Robin Aaron.
Is it still... It's Robin now? Okay.
Who's Robin?
Their son. The one who sucks on the titty.
Yeah, sucky titty.
I thought he was dead.
No,
he's just... Don't know.
Oh, yeah, he's somewhere in there, yeah.
So the thing that I was listening to, said about the theory, they said that they think that Robin Aaron is the prince that was promised.
Oh god.
Oh my
god.
I
had a rumour that in season 8 John Cena's going to be Robin Aaron.
Can you imagine?
got absolutely whamped in a few years.
That would be so funny.
The thing is, I like this episode. I did really like it. It was a lot better than the last one. I thought a lot happened in the last one, but it's like I haven't listened over it, but you and me spoke about it in quite depth. There's a lot of dumb stuff in that one. A lot of action, but a lot of dumb stuff. And I think some people would argue that it wasn't that dumb. I would argue it definitely was quite dumb.
Okay.
And then this one is more logical and more tactful in how they do things, I think. Maybe not Daenerys so much, because she seems to be a bit... she jumps on things a bit too fast.
Like John's dick.
Oh, shit. Didn't say
that was way too easy to set up, mate.
Yeah.
So he gave that to the silver platter.
But then there was other bits, wasn't it, in this one?
So you got...
Did Sam mention that his wife... Is it Sam?
No, he took credit for himself, didn't he? So this is where...
No, but he transcribed it. So the thing that she was reading was something that because the next time to transcribe it. So that was something he'd already written down. Okay. She was just reading.
So this is where Sam comes to Winterfell.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
This is where Sam comes to Winterfell, sees Bran's like, "What's up, man?" And Bran's like, "I'm not Bran anymore."
That's so weird. Do you know what that bugged me about the episode? Sorry. That Bran's not Bran when he's on the outside, but when he goes into a vision, he's Bran again. Like, back to normal Bran. He's just like, oh, right, that happened. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
But so then,
probably tell someone about this.
So Sam, this is where I can't remember exactly how it goes, but Bran sort of says John's not Stark, and then he's a bastard Targaryen or something, or Dornish.
Dorn.
And then Sam then realizes that he's a legitimate heir to the throne. So they kind of together piece it together. But then it was really funny, wasn't it? Because what does Sam say? Sam's like, "Oh, I've got this letter for you, or some information," and then Bran relays that information, and then Sam's like, "Did you see that in a vision?" And Bran's like, "No, I've got a piece of paper."
Yeah, that's what I've got to scroll. Yeah. That's quite funny.
It's like, no. And then what else happens? So then Euron fucks off when you feel like he's deserted.
Hold on. Let's continue on. We just kind of skip past that bit. So like the realization that Jon's real name is Aegon Targaryen.
Oh yeah.
Aegon the Sixth, I believe, is his name.
So I got a quick question about that in a minute, but we'll come back to it quickly. So I really liked that whole reveal scene because it was laid over like Jon fucking Daenerys. But so I liked what they revealed, but I thought they kind of just did it really, like in the space of 30 seconds they were kind of just like, yeah, bam, 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 bam. Jon's this happened.
Yeah.
Bran went back to this time and saw this happening, so now Jon's this person. And I was kind of like, okay, this is cool, but like maybe they could have done it a bit
more dramatic.
Done it a bit differently.
It should have been a duff moment.
Yeah.
Like rather than because the way that Gilly reveals that Rhaegar Targaryen actually married Lyanna Stark, that was so cash.
How did she know that again?
She read it.
Sorry, yeah, she read it.
But then this was just kind of like super casual, and I was just it wasn't like I was
still kind of like, oh shit though.
How did Sam know to get that book and transcribe it?
The Maester told him to transcribe these books. He said, "Here's these books. Transcribe, rewrite them."
So we thinking that Maester did this on purpose, or we just thinking?
I think it was
like just arbitrary information that actually turned out to be really important.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's arbitrary information. That's
if you don't know the context, do you?
Also, I think I said this. Is Jon technically heir to the throne if Jon wasn't born before Aegon? No, not Aegon. Who is his father?
Rhaegar.
If Rhaegar died before he was born.
But we don't know if Rhaegar died before he was born. That's what I was saying to you.
Yeah.
I think he was still alive at that point where Jon was born. I think that was before they killed him.
Because it was Robert Baratheon that killed Rhaegar.
Yeah.
But I had the assumption that when young Ned went to go and see his sister giving birth, that he was like, oh, where's Rhaegar? And I thought Rhaegar was on the battle with...
Yeah, but then I guess the fact that the child is still like alive, even if it's not been born yet, it's still the heir, isn't it? Because even if like what's her name, Kate Middleton gets pregnant, it's kind of like that child is still an heir to the throne. And also I guess like he supersedes Daenerys because the fact he's male in that kind of
but then logically if Rhaegar dies first before the child's born, then wouldn't it automatically go to Daenerys or Daenerys' brother?
We don't know if was the Mad King even dead at that point.
That's it. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, it was just curiosity.
That's what I'd love to see one of the prequel series be like. Robert's Rebellion. It's too close to the actual events, isn't it? But
and you know what's going to happen.
So yeah, my question was, so Jon's real name is Aegon Targaryen, but Rhaegar Targaryen already had a son called Aegon Targaryen. So my question is, why did he?
Did he?
Yeah, he had his son. So he had a daughter and he had a son. And one of them was called Aegon. I can't remember what the daughter was called, and they died. So then he has another son, and he calls him Aegon as well.
Maybe that's because Aegon's like a powerful name, because Aegon the Conqueror, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He was the one who rode that huge dragon.
Yeah,
So wait, his first son was Aegon the Fifth, and now Jon's Aegon the Sixth,
Yeah.
basically.
That's what I was confused about. So originally when he said, "Oh yeah, he's Aegon Targaryen," I was thinking, "Oh, so maybe he was," because there was. I remember reading that there was rumors that they weren't sure whether or not the first Aegon Targaryen, his first son, had died or not. So I thought, oh, maybe it's him then. But then I was reading things saying, okay, no, he's just a second son that he decided to call the same.
Well, I guess it's like Bran is a common name in the
but not the
Stark
same family. That's what. That's.
Yeah, but if he's died, then they're not technically living. Maybe it's just.
I guess, but I just find it a bit strange.
But
so
do you reckon,
curious.
because Aegon the Conqueror is like a, historical Aegon, then maybe Jon will be Aegon the Conqueror as well? Because they always call Daenerys the Conqueror.
He's too nice to be that kind of name given.
Yeah. Do you know what actually just reminded me? In the books, I don't know if this is translated in the series as well, but the Maester Aemon, who's also a Targaryen.
The Night's Watch.
Yeah. When he gets delusional and before he dies, he has visions of, he keeps saying egg, which is short for Aegon. But obviously he had like a brother or an uncle or something called Aegon. So people just assumed that he was talking about his memories from back then. But maybe that was like a seeding.
It probably was.
Maybe he knew that Jon was a Targaryen. He was saying
it
egg,
probably was,
like
yeah.
trying to call Jon.
Yeah.
You never know. So that's an interesting thing. Confirms a lot of theories that people had. And then so then Euron fucks off. You think he's deserted them, but then
I think he
what's
has.
her name? Cersei.
No,
Cersei reveals that
Cersei
reveals he's going with the Iron Bank's money to buy the Golden Company, who are an Essos-based kind of mercenaries, and they are gonna come and fight on the behalf of the Lannisters. So I reckon they might fight the Dothrakis.
It's not really the Lannisters, it's just her, isn't it? Jamie's left.
Yeah.
Where's he left to? The north?
He's gone to the north,
Yeah.
to fight the battle.
It's going to be like, guys, with you now.
So I guess there's just going to be a lot of battles next season.
Seems like it.
And the walls down.
Internal and external.
How do you think it's going to play out? Do you reckon the first few episodes will be against...
I want to get to the fucking wall! Guys!
That's alright, Lee. That's alright.
We'll get there in a sec. Do you reckon it will be battling the White Walkers first few episodes, defeat them, then it will be the internal battle for the throne, or do you reckon it'll be concurrent?
I reckon it'll be battle with White Walkers, while you can see there'll be snippets of like Cersei doing the underhanded bits, and also you have Reek, or as he's also known as Theon, having trying to get his sister back as well, and then I think it'll be the big bad battle.
Yeah. So how are they gonna fight the White Walkers, Ollie?
Don't know. I don't want it to just like end in one episode though. Like White Walkers, bam, they're just gone.
Oh, literally.
Do you
know what?
So
I feel like that is what's going to happen though.
Yeah, they've only got so many episodes.
Yeah, they're marching now down towards wherever. I don't know how long it's going to take, but they're marching down towards Winterfell or wherever they're going. So I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the White Walkers should be the last thing that they're facing.
Yeah.
Rather than like the first thing.
Yeah, but then there's no point. They might as well try and kill them first, because if they go and battle for a throne, and then they can't beat them.
No, but I mean for the actual series. I feel like the White Walkers should be like the final hurdle before they, do that.
Not enough people died in this season that I thought.
I think only was it one key character? Yeah, because you don't actually see the Serpent Ladies die, do you?
No, you assume they're dead. Tell us about the wall then. What happens at the wall?
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
How did it fall down?
Dragon. That's it.
Come on then. Talk about it then.
Night King's riding dragon, breathing fire, not ice.
What was it? Ice fire. It was blue.
Or was it? Isn't blue fire hotter?
Yeah.
So maybe it was just hotter fire.
Maybe.
And then the ginger guy and the guy with the eye patch. Don't know. Assume they're alive.
Tormund.
They're pretty like.
But a lot of the wall went down. And there was a still picture where it's like yeah, and it's like links it to the Stark family because it looks like a wolf.
Yeah, so the way the position of their marching.
Yeah, which makes sense because I looked at the picture and I was like, why the fuck is that one White Walker just in the middle of nowhere? Doesn't make any sense, literally.
What do you think that means?
It's Bran Stark who's the Night King.
Well, could be a Stark.
Don't know, Stark thing.
I mean, it could. I get the theory because like he touched him, didn't he? So
Yeah.
like
They do have a link.
he could
Maybe
be
that's
there
where
on
they're
that
going.
Maybe.
Winterfell.
Maybe they're going to go and help Jon Snow win the war.
Because Winterfell's not actually... Because they came down on the east, didn't they? But Winterfell's on the
West,
west.
yeah.
Because they could just go straight down and they get to King's Landing, wouldn't they?
I mean, this Night King is smart because he's keeping with his people, but he could literally just ride this dragon wherever and just...
What was that? Just burn everything?
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
Yeah, but then he
Murk it
wouldn't
all.
have an army. 'Cause everything would be
He didn't need
ashes.
to, yeah. Well, what does he care? He just wants to destroy the world.
Listen, we don't actually know what he wants.
He just wants his life back, really.
The producer said that he won't ever have any
Yes.
lines of dialogue.
I think
Never.
I think that's good.
No.
I think that's good.
It's better as a mysterious...
Yeah, I agree.
No,
What about
one word.
giving
It'd be good if he had one word at the very end as he's about to die. Brad, my son.
That's 3 words.
You know what I'm saying? No, one phrase.
Brad, my son.
Or just
He's
like,
Brad. Why would he say Brad, my son?
or he's like,
Or
Aegon.
he has one word and it's Dracarys. And
That would be alright
that'd be decent.
if he was going to do it like that. But I'd rather just didn't speak.
When my initial reaction, my hot take to this episode was a little bit disappointing. Because I know traditionally they have like the 9th episode's the sick one and then the 10th episode's the fallout.
Yeah.
But series 6, the last episode was so good.
Yeah, it was.
Like when she blew up the Sept of Baelor and then like Tommen dies, bare people die.
Yeah.
Like you just said, there weren't many major deaths this series. Didn't care about the Dornish people. Lady Olenna, yeah, fair enough, but she wasn't like really key. And then Littlefinger's death wasn't that much of a shock, really, because
It's a massive death, though, I think.
Yeah, but you want him to die. It's not like, you know.
Yeah, but you want Joffrey to die, but it stopped him from being a massive death.
Do you think they're just waiting? They're just teasing.
And even Ramsay
everyone's-
Bolton was a massive death. You did, sorry, Ollie. And you wanted him to die.
Yeah,
But
I
that
just
was
feel like this series they've kind of hinted strongly at least twice that Jaime would die, and he hasn't. And I feel like not that I want Jaime to die, but I feel like that's the sort of oh shit death that they need.
No, you just want Daenerys to die.
Well,
You've been waiting for this.
she will. I reckon she will, but I've been wrong about a lot of things in the series.
Yeah, I must admit, I was saying to Obi, I definitely agree with your take from the first episode. The writing is definitely a lot sloppier, or not as coherent, or it's rushed pretty
I
much.
just don't understand why they needed to shorten it. Like, they could have definitely made 10 episodes.
Apparently they had to shorten it because they had to use the extra money to pay for all the dragon CGI.
Longer.
Yeah, but they've
Don't
made
know
episodes longer, so surely I don't know. The duration isn't that different because like there's 6 episodes next series, but all of them are at least 80 minutes. So if you think about it, like 6 episodes of 80 is probably equivalent to 10 episodes of 45 or whatever. I don't know.
Can they just cut out the dragons like a little bit more? Like, I don't know about.
I don't
you,
give a
but
shit about the dragons.
Yeah,
I will die.
I like seeing the actual battles on
Same.
the field. It's
like,
really good production.
Yesterday I watched
It's alright, Obi. It's alright, mate. It's alright.
Yesterday I watched Battle of Blackwater and I watched Battle of the Bastards. Neither of them had dragons and they were both ridiculously good episodes and so much better than anything in season 7.
Yeah, couldn't they just have 8 60-minute episodes?
Battle of Blackwater was so good, man. Oh.
I don't remember that one.
It was the one where Stannis was marching towards King's Landing and Tyrion got all the wildfire and exploded all their ships.
Oh, yeah.
Is that where Tyrion got the scar?
Yeah. That was such a
Yeah.
sick episode.
So this series as a whole, what do we rate it? Like a good?
What, ranking or?
Well, yeah. How does it? Is it the best series?
No,
Is it,
nowhere near.
No.
is it the second
not
best?
the worst?
Not the worst.
Not the worst.
Season 5's the worst.
Yeah.
By far.
Is season 5 the one with where Jon had the dragon glass and the one? Yeah.
For me, this is like maybe like third
Or fourth best, I think, in my ranking.
well, for me, maybe like
Or you could say third or
maybe like
fourth.
5th.
Okay.
Maybe 6th actually.
What
Oh,
worst?
Yeah.
What about you? How would you
I
rank
can't
it?
really remember the first 5. and
Well,
what
I am
happened
rewatching them, and I started episode 1 yesterday because I missed season 2. So
It's stuck.
Is it
Sure, dude.
after watching it again? Is it really hard? Quite not
It's
hard to
weird
watch,
seeing
but
them
it's long, isn't it? The first few episodes, like.
I enjoyed what I
I
watched.
don't know. It's kind, it's kind of good.
It.
It's like really developing.
Yeah.
So it's like it's just Winterfell and King's Landing.
I think you
and a
noticed
little
quite a
bit
few.
of Daenerys.
You noticed a few things. Did you see the? I don't know if you guys seen the video, but have you seen the video of basically they say like when Robert Baratheon first arrives at Winterfell and you think he shakes Ned's hand, I think he hugs Catelyn Stark, shakes Robb Stark's hand and pats Rickon on the head, and obviously they're all dead. So they were saying that was like foreshadowing sort of thing.
Nice.
Hmm.
So,
Boom.
So the Night King's Rob Baratheon. Knew it.
so you're not sure like where this one ranks?
No, mate. Don't know. No idea.
I think
it's one of the worst.
What's
seasons,
let it down
personally.
then?
It's way too rushed. I think the writing is a bit like
sloppy.
It's really sloppy and really convenient. I think.
Yeah.
And I think I'm just annoyed because people love these dragons and I don't really care about the dragons. So people are saying like whenever a dragon comes, people are like, oh my god, this episode was amazing.
But pacing's all over the place. It's too up down.
Yeah.
It's like
way all over the
bit
place.
of calm talking at one episode, next episode battle, then calm talking. I just want it to be a bit more
It was rushed.
evenly spread.
It was rushed.
For me, that episode was it the last episode where he essentially got the dragon. That could have been so much better. Like they could have done so much more with that episode, and they just rammed it all into one. And
I think the episode could have been spread over a couple episodes at least.
I can't believe I can't believe for a guy who writes such good books that he's watching this. Like George R. I know he's not actually writing the thing, but you'd think he'd see it and be like, guys, it's got to be tweaked a little bit. This is not how I want to.
Well, he's given them carte blanche, really. He just told them where it's ending up, and they got their own thing. And apparently, we have to wait until 2019 for.
That's a rumor, though.
Yeah,
because it's apparently because of scheduling, isn't it?
Well, they're starting filming in October, early September now. So
can't they just do it so that we get at least an episode a month or something? Come on. Give us something to
imagine
go
waiting 4 weeks for
Forget that. One episode a month, that's long.
Or give us a prequel series in between while we're waiting.
They said, I know. Wishful thinking.
At least there's Rick and Morty in the meantime.
Yes.
For the next couple of weeks.
Fucking Rick and Morty. What was the last one you watched? Is that the one with
Rick and Jerry episode?
No, where they're having the cleanse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite funny.
Which one's that? Is that
Toxins, episode 6, I think. No, episode 5 or 6.
6.
Yeah.
That's the one where
they go to the thing, get their toxins released from their body, and then the toxins don't want to go back in the body. No, toxins want to go back in the body.
Oh, I've not seen that one.
No.
The last one I saw was
it's not on Netflix yet. It's
Rick and Jerry.
Yeah, no, there's new.
There's a new one, yeah.
And there's one this weekend as well.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
So I'm behind.
So Rick and Jerry's one, that was basically Rick feeling sorry for Jerry, and then Jerry
trying to kill Rick.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I just don't feel like this series has been as funny as the previous series.
I think it's been funny. I think the Rick and Jerry adventure wasn't as funny, and I think the last one wasn't as funny, but it was still funny in its own right. I think they're trying to maybe develop the story a little bit, because it's usually just all over the shop and it's all interlinked somehow, but this one
there is more of a overarching theme, isn't there, with like
I just like it when it's
separation.
like with the Mr. Minxie's episode where it's just crazy and it doesn't make any sense, and there's not this huge like storyline. It's just
well, I think the Pickle Rick one was quite good, because they integrate the storyline slightly, but you just had the whole Pickle Rick.
That was just funny. Pickle Rick at Reading, someone had like a huge Pickle Rick henna.
Oh, did they?
I was like, I'm gonna get that. Got you. That's wicked.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit too deep, with the whole separation theme and stuff. But yeah, it's still funny. Well, let's move on to some other recent releases.
What have we all seen?
Well, I don't think we've all seen
Hitman's
any.
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
Have we not talked about that?
Don't think so. It's been a few weeks.
Ages ago.
So, Hitman's Bodyguard is a buddy comedy where Ryan Reynolds plays a bodyguard and Samuel L. Jackson plays a hitman, and they kind of been old adversaries throughout their kind of professional history. Ryan Reynolds, one of his one of the people he's protecting, one of his clients gets killed.
That's his AAA rating gone.
Yeah, so then he kind of has a fall from grace and has to do kind of odd jobs protecting like drugged up lawyers, and then he gets tasked with taking Samuel L. Jackson from Coventry to The Hague
by Electra.
Yes.
Nonetheless.
To give evidence against Gary Oldman's Belarusian
Did you not realise?
You knew she looked familiar.
He didn't realise.
You didn't realise?
Till just now, literally.
Okay.
The girl was Electra.
Elodie Young.
She does look she looks loads skinnier in The Hitman's Bodyguard than she does in Daredevil, just saying. She looks like she's a little bit anorexic.
So what do we think? It was kind of Deadpool like.
I think it was just way too much Ryan Reynolds, Samuel Jackson.
You didn't like it that much?
No, I did. I just thought it was too much of just those two.
I thought it could have been better. It was funny, but it wasn't that funny.
You're going to disagree with me, aren't you?
About what?
About what I just said?
No.
Oh.
I didn't
You're just looking at me like...
No, I'm just gauging your opinion, mate. I'm just, I didn't got much to say, but I thought it was okay, but it wasn't like I wasn't like laugh out loud.
It was more amusing.
I think there was one part where everyone in the cinema laughed, and I can't remember what that part was.
Yeah, I thought it's just like their kind of classic sort of fast-paced talking repertoire. I thought Salma Hayek was quite funny as the wife, the foul-mouthed wife.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, and she's in prison and stuff.
What with the person in the corner? I might
yeah, it was alright.
They had good chemistry.
It kind of didn't seem like either of them had to act, if that makes sense. They were kind of just both like being themselves.
Yeah,
and just put it into a film.
Exaggerated versions of their most well-known characters.
Do we know how well it did?
I don't think it's been critically received that well.
I read that last week's box office, or the week before, was one of the worst weekends at the box office.
Yeah.
Ever.
I reckon that's going to be a trend anyway, because if more and more things are coming out on Netflix or Amazon Prime, then less people are going to...
Cinema's going to be obsolete, man. Obsolete.
No wonder they're charging so much money for tickets.
Fucking hot dogs. Oh,
exactly. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like £9.
For a hot dog?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. They come up on like the screen before the film starts. It's like only £8.50 for a popcorn. Like, fuck off! I'm going to Tesco, get it for £1. Other supermarkets are available. And I'm going to go and see Logan Lucky tonight. So one of you's seen it?
Yeah, we've both.
You've both seen it.
What
Let
time
me know.
Are you seeing that?
8:40, but I'm seeing it with my family, so you're not invited.
I'm going goals, mate, because I'm committed to a cause, mate.
Yeah, so am I, my family.
That's a first.
Wow. Tell us about Logan Lucky. I don't care if you spoil it, because I'm not looking forward to it.
Really?
Yeah. I think the trailer looks shit.
I thought...
Just like Justice League.
So why are you seeing it then?
Because I'm going with my family. My mum wants to see it.
Wow. Such a lovely son.
Such a mama's word. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. It was
I love how silent you're like, yeah, alright, let's see what you got to say.
So, but he's going to open his mouth and be like, it was shit.
I'm letting you finish before I talk.
So,
I'm trying to be polite.
Cheers, mate. Let's not say for now. Fucking bastard.
Logan Lucky, what was it? Funny?
Yes, no, so it's pretty much just a heist, isn't it? A bank heist. Well, not a bank heist, but a heist. And it's so... What's the word I'm looking for? The plot to steal the money is so, like,
far-fetched.
out there, that I didn't think it was going to work. And at a couple of points, it was like, it almost didn't work.
Yeah.
Because they almost got caught.
Yeah.
But it was like a lot of dialogue, I don't know. It was quite a strange cast. Having, what's his name? Seth MacFarlane had like a really strange character in it.
Oh,
He's
really?
in it. He's like
Kylo Ren was in it as well, wasn't
he? Who?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, yeah. He was the guy with the one hand.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay. Fair enough.
And what's his fame from 007 in it?
James.
Craig.
Just said James Bond. That's not his real name.
Yeah, really strange cast, I think, actually. And they were all playing like, what was the state that they were supposed to be in? The home of NASCAR.
It's West Virginia, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's it.
it's Virginia.
West
yeah.
Virginia.
Was it funny? Was it entertaining?
It's more amusing than funny.
Okay.
It wasn't even that amusing, actually.
There was just like one bit with his like prosthetic arm, and when he gets sucked up, I think that was quite funny. Just because he's looking like he's looking at his arm. That was it. You'll see that part. Yeah.
I thought it was alright. Like,
Nothing special, was it?
No, nothing special, but like it was decent. I mean, the plot was so like when they were like after they decided to do a heist, I was like, okay, yeah, this is alright.
Should we do it?
But the thing is, like, so like, yeah, what I was gonna say was their reasoning for wanting to do a heist was kind of really like paper thin. I don't even know why did he even want to do it again.
Wasn't it just because he lost his job?
Yeah, he lost his job. And his daughter was moving away, and he was like, okay, should we do a heist? And I was like, oh.
Has anyone seen the Oceans trilogy?
No.
Oceans 11, 12.
Because it's the same director.
Is it?
Yeah. It just kind of feels like a hillbilly version.
It would make sense why it was so far-fetched then.
Love a heist movie, but
yeah, it was like I thought it was decent. There was one point in the film I was thinking like, where the hell is this going? Like, you don't care for spoilers, do you?
No.
So after Chris, you go. So after they steal the money, he's like, he basically like calls the police and gives them, and like anonymously, and then the money gets given back. And then for like the next like 10, 20 minutes or so, they're showing like police investigations, or FBI, sorry, and they're saying that like nobody knows where he is because he's like gone missing. Because obviously like people who are involved with the heist are kind of thinking like what happened, like where's my money sort of thing. And I was just like, what is going on? I thought the film was just gonna end, and he was like, I thought he had a change because he went to go see his daughter's like talent show performance. So I thought, and that was like straight after he robbed the whatever. So I thought, oh, maybe he's had a change of heart because his daughter was like whatever, and he just decided to get the money back. But they didn't say anything like that. So he was just like.
Bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, what's really going on? Then they kind of brought it back round. So basically, he stole more money than we originally first thought, and he hid that money in a dump, I think. And so he to get the suspicion off him, he called the.
So they gave some money back.
Yeah.
But because the company that were stocking the money in the vault, they didn't know how much there was.
Yeah.
So they got the insurance back. So they were like, well, we got some money back. We don't care that more got stolen, but they don't know because they don't know how much money they had.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like one of the things in the film is that he can't afford to pay his phone bill, and his phone's still on, and at the end of the film he goes to get the money from the dump, and then I think his brother says like, how do you know they weren't tracking you or something like that? And he was saying basically he waited until the phone company shut his phone off, so nobody could track him. So then he knows that there's no chance they're tracking him. I think because they tried to investigate him and his brother, and so they kept the phone on for, I think if you don't pay off, the story was if you don't pay a phone bill they'll keep the phone on for like 60 days or something like that, but his phone was left on for like 90 days, and he thinks that's because they were tracking his phone to see if he would go and wherever the money was. So as soon as they switched it off, he was like, okay, it's cool to go. Went and got the money, got it. And
it was really like, I don't know, I thought it was shit in the fact that, so you know when you, I don't know if you guys have seen the TV show The Hustle.
Yeah.
That was wicked. So you see this great like plan play out, and then they're like, oh, how'd you do it in the last 15 minutes?
Yeah,
like,
I like
this,
that.
This. But in that, there was nothing. There was literally like two things that I can think of, and it was one, like, they stole more money, and two, it was like the thing with the gate, and there was like the badge, and that was it. I was like, that's fucking shit, man.
Yeah.
So you're disappointed?
I was a little bit
I'm not
disappointed with the
because I didn't
heist.
think he was gonna. I think it's an okay film. It's kind of hard to explain, like really, like what makes it good and like kind of.
Yeah, there weren't like a good motive.
Yeah, but like, but if you watch it, I think you'll be like, oh yeah, it's average. It's a decent, it's an okay film. But there was a bit at the end where one of the FBI agents, she's kind of like seemingly going undercover, and she's still like investigating these people. So I don't know if they're planning a sequel or what, but that's what it kind of seemed like.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
when I first saw it, because obviously Logan Lucky, there was that clip where it was like he throws the hat and it lands in the trunk.
Yeah.
I thought, so it's going to be like a heist, but he's like got some like. He's just lucky.
So the thing
that would have been quite cool.
Yeah. Their brother believes that the family's like cursed, like unlucky, because he went to the war and he got his arm blown off, and his brother was going to be a football star, but he blew out his knee, so they think that they're unlucky. So that's where the title Logan Lucky comes from.
Okay.
And originally, the guy who they planned to heist with, he was like, oh, I don't want to plan a heist with you guys because you're unlucky, that sort of thing. So that's why it's called Logan Lucky.
All right.
But yeah, it was alright.
What about American Made?
6.
I haven't seen it.
Someone's seen American Made.
I've seen it.
How was it?
No one else seen it?
No, I was going to go see it, but I didn't.
Alright, it was alright.
Okay, taking that one off the list. Moving swiftly on.
Tom Cruise, pilot, and he gets recruited by the CIA pretty much to do reconnaissance work down in Central America, because this is over the 80s. And I think Cuban Missile Crisis.
That was the 60s.
No, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong date then. I'm thinking of something else.
It's Pablo Escobar.
Yeah, around that time.
Yeah.
So he is doing some reconnaissance work and it's going well, but then he's like, need more money because CIA is not doing me not paying the bills. So he does a bit of dodgy work with Pablo Escobar and down south, and he ends up having this huge, like, you know how someone acquires so much wealth and they're just like, and he's like Wolf of Wall Street, it's just money like,
or like
pouring
Walter White.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah. And it's just pretty much that, and then the downfall. So.
Okay, it's based on a true story, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's like they've got all the tapes and everything because he died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's not live not live anymore.
Because I was listening to an interview of the director, and the director's father was actually involved in investigating this guy when because his father used to work for the CIA, FBI, whoever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and apparently there's archive footage at the end, and his dad's part of that, which is interesting. But the film as a whole, was it fun? It sounds like a
I don't know. It's kind of
film.
Yeah, it would have been, but I just I don't know if it was Tom Cruise or it was just like there was something about it that was a little bit dull, and I don't know. Maybe it was just because it was really, really centered around him. There's literally like no other characters.
But that is kind of against type for Tom Cruise, isn't it? Or is it?
What do you mean?
Well, because Tom Cruise is normally like the action hero, like he's the really good guy.
Yeah.
Was he kind of anti-hero-esque, or was it just like?
Well, I don't think you can say it's anti-hero because he was smuggling guns and cocaine. So I don't know where the hero comes out in that.
All right, but you know he
just gets well greedy. But yeah, it's not Tom Cruise-esque.
So again, what would you rate that out of 10?
6 pops.
Okay.
It's above average.
I saw Annabelle Creation.
Oh yeah.
I guess none of you have seen that.
No.
Certainly not your sort of thing, Obi. So this is the second Annabelle film, which is actually a prequel to Annabelle, which itself is a prequel to The Conjuring. So it's part of the Conjuring extended universe, whatever is CEU, I don't know. So this is basically in The Conjuring, which is about a couple that investigate paranormal entities. They're not exorcists, but
one can see it.
Yeah, so
and the other one does the rituals for it.
Yeah, so they try and get rid of bad spirits. Yeah. And then in the first Conjuring film, there was a doll that was possessed.
Locked away, wasn't it?
Yeah, so they kind of collect.
Chucky.
They kind of collect kind of supernatural artifacts. Yeah. And then they lock the doll away. Because
Chucky part of this thing?
No.
Oh, okay.
Although I heard they might be trying to reboot that. So.
And then the film Annabelle was about this kind of girl who has this doll, and bad shit starts to happen because of the doll, which is kind of demonically possessed. And then Annabelle Creation is how the doll actually becomes possessed.
Okay.
Any of you gonna see it?
You can tell me. I'll watch it, but I don't care.
Essentially, it's this family who live in kind of rural America, and they're very religious, and they have a daughter, and this daughter gets so the father is a doll maker, and the doll is attached to the Annabelle doll.
Is it a really low
but it's
creation?
not. But it's not obviously possessed at this point. And then the daughter ends up getting hit by a car, and she dies, and they're obviously really upset about it. But then later on, they kind of try and heal their family by turning it into an orphanage. So they get these young girls and a nun to come and live in their house. And with the usual horror setup, you can go into any room but this room. And obviously, the young girls are probably like 10. Their curiosity gets the better of them, and they go into this room, which used to be
young girls' room.
Yeah, so it used to be Annabelle's room, and one of the girls has a leg brace because she's got polio, and so.
When's this set in?
It's set in the, I don't know, 40s.
Oh, I was gonna say.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure of the time period.
It's quite old though.
But
Like even
old, yeah.
Conjuring's set
in the 60s or
60s,
something.
yeah.
So then the girl with the polio goes into Annabelle's room, and she has this dollhouse, and then she's sort of looking in there, and there's a sort of supernatural thing pushing her towards opening this cupboard door. And she opens the cupboard door, and it's this room filled with Bible pages, and then Annabelle doll sitting there, and then it starts rocking, and then she sees like the astral figure of the little girl who died, and yeah, so it's established throughout the film, spoilers here, that when the daughter died, this demon was pretending to be her and was asking for permission to go into the Annabelle doll so that she could sort of they could have some sort of contact with their daughter at least, so that kind of the premise is that if this, or who they thought was their daughter, possesses this doll, then occasionally they'll be able to see snippets of their daughter running around the house. They just couldn't interact with her, only through this doll. Turns out that it was actually a demon who was impersonating their daughter. So it was a solid horror film. Like,
creepy.
It was like, obviously children are creepy naturally, and like it was set in like a really isolated like area. There's lots of like common horror tropes, like areas of the frame being really dark and something's going to jump out at you. The fact that
loud music at that moment.
Well, tension's built because they have a stair lift which allows the girl with polio to go up the stairs, and there's a point where she's being chased by the demon. She's trying to get up the stairs, but it's not working. So there's a lot of tension there. Like a well, obviously from The Ring, that's like a really big kind of horror trope. So it was solid. The thing that kind of took it down a peg was that you actually get to see the demon. So I always feel that for a lot of things is the fact that the unseen is what kind of makes it a bit scarier, because in your mind you're like, how's this gonna look, and you actually saw it. And I don't know if you've ever seen Insidious, but when you see the demon there, it kind of looks like Darth Maul.
It does,
and so it just, when you see the demon, it just kind of like okay, it's
I'd
a
love,
bit
like in real life, if you were
bit
getting chased by a
lame.
demon and you saw it and you're like, I really thought you'd be more scary
Yeah.
than that.
But it's like if you watch Paranormal Activity and you actually saw the thing, the actual demon. It's scary when you just see footsteps and you're not sure what's there.
It's just a force.
Well, is Annabelle in Annabelle or Annabelle 2? Is that the one where Annabelle 1 actually, where they try and give the doll back to the church, and then the church the whole actual church building rejects it and goes flying backwards.
That's Annabelle.
That's Annabelle.
So
okay.
Annabelle creation right at the end leads up to the beginning of Annabelle.
Right.
So it does flow quite well. This film's a much better film than Annabelle.
Okay.
Like, I remember coming up Annabelle being like, that was terrible. But this is solid. Like the scares, it's kind of scare free for quite the first like half of it, and then it kind of ramps it up.
Right.
So it's solid horror film. I watched another horror film the other day, Austrian horror film called Goodnight Mummy. Anyone heard of
Is that
that?
the one where she's like all masked up and
Masked
they're
on,
like,
yeah.
Mummy, and it's like,
Yeah.
don't call me!
So she has a mask on, and then she's like, fuck it, mask off.
I knew you were going to say that. Oh my god.
So this is
Most
a...
predictable sentence of 2017.
So
Don't act like you didn't enjoy it though.
You love my terrible jokes. So do all our listeners. So this is for Goodnight Mummy, or Austrian it's called Ich sehe. It's about a mother and her two twin sons, who, again, they kind of live kind of isolated, but there's kind of hints that there's some sort of accident because the mother has had reconstructive surgery on her face, so she wears like bandages quite a lot. She only acknowledges one of the boys, so obviously you think that she must hate this other one. So there's Lucas and Elias. She only ever talks to Elias, and she refuses to like feed the other one, even acknowledge he exists. And then the boys start to think that this woman is not their mother, and so they say, "You're not my mummy. What have you done with my mummy?" Because obviously she's changed her face, and they find photos and things, and the woman who used to be their mother has had different eye colours, and there's just certain things that you're like, "Ooh, this woman might be an imposter." And so the kids tie her up and start to torture her.
How young are these kids?
10. Because they like admit that you're not my mother, and she's like, I am your mother. And
but she's not like a saint. She's not sane, is she? She's like proper psycho.
Well, she's not a proper psycho, but they're like, you're not my mum. Like, where is she? And she's like, shut up. And then she makes.
You wouldn't say that to someone if they're torturing you.
She's like, I am your mother. But there's also a part where you see her walk naked into the woods, and then she stands there, and then like, I don't know if you've ever seen it where like the head moves like really like kind of demonically. So you do think there's something wrong with her. So the way that the film progresses is, so they kind of torture their mother a bit more, and then Elias says, you need to acknowledge Lucas, like answer what he's saying, or he will burn the house down. And she's like, I cannot see Lucas. She's like, he died like ages ago, but if you want me to pretend to see him again, then I will. And then you can see Lucas holding a flame up to a curtain, and then Elias pushes the candle into the curtain, and the whole house kind of.
So the kid sees dead people, or she's just.
Well, so this is the thing. So that's the.
Bruce Willis just walks in.
Well, the quote unquote twist is that obviously because they were twins, like, at the beginning you see them play hide and seek near a lake, and then there's a part where Elias is going, Lucas, where are you? And you just see bubbles. So that happens at the beginning, and obviously like it's insinuated that Lucas drowns, but Elias feels so guilty about it that he's kind of still thinking that Lucas is alive, and yeah, so that's the twist, and then they all end up dying. But like I was watching it with Lauren, and literally straight away she was like, "Oh, like he's dead, isn't he?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it makes sense." So the twist, the big reveal, like we watching it knew it was already happening, so we were like, "Yeah, this kid's definitely like," because she doesn't look at him, she doesn't answer him, she doesn't react when he speaks, she doesn't put food out for him, and you're like, yeah, you could be a negligent mother, but I felt it was a bit too obvious, like what the actual twist was, and so therefore when it happened, it wasn't that kind of shocking. But then also, there's no explanation as to.
But how did he set the fire?
Oh, because he pushes the candle into.
Yeah, but
I think the assumption is that he does it himself.
Oh, okay.
But he just thinks that Lucas is.
Like Fight Club, innit?
Yeah, exactly,
He's
like Tyler Durden sort of thing.
Does he untie his mother before he does this?
No, they both die, because the last scene is all three of them like standing in like a ghostly sort of place, so they're all reunited. But there's no explanation as to what's wrong with the mother, like why she kind of goes a bit demonic.
Or maybe she doesn't, and he's just seeing it.
Well, because this happens away from the children, and it's insinuated that she is their real mother because she's an actress. So obviously she's like, oh yeah, I changed my eye colour because they're contacts, and my hair colour's different because I have to dye it for a part. So you're never really sure whether she is the real mother or not, but there's no real explanation as to whether she's like a demon or what. It was a solid horror film, but it was a shame that we kind of predicted it like really early.
What's like your go-to horror movie? Because you're just like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how
you're
you
just
watch
a
some of
freak.
these things. But like,
he likes a bit of a Serbian film.
Oh, that is a horrible film. That is a horrible film. That's my limit.
What's like
That's your limit.
Your best horror movie?
My favourite?
Yeah.
My favourite horror movie is Silent Hill.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Down on the Pyramid Head.
That's just messed up, man. Is that the one where the thing comes out the toilet or something?
Yeah, that really freaked me out when I first watched it.
Dude, I sit in the toilet for ages.
And how and how old were you? 6?
I was probably, I think it came out in like 2006, so I must have been at least 13, 14.
This is how it started.
I do like a good horror. I watched a horror film.
Glenn has definitely made me watch, or asked to watch a few films that he couldn't get hold of a few times.
Yeah, I came here and watched them.
Antichrist, the Serbian film.
Oh, I was it for that.
A Human Centipede being one of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was rotten.
I watched a horror film yesterday called Banshee Chapter, which was terrible. It was terrible. I'm not even going to bother explaining it.
Good, because I've had enough horror in my head right now.
Okay, well let's talk about something a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
So what have we got down here? Rough Night. Supposed to be a comedy.
Who's that?
Yeah, fucking. No, excuse my language. Sorry. Yeah, that was rubbish.
What? Just.
It was just rubbish. Like it was. It's about these 4 girls who are in college together. One's a bit clueless. One's a bit ditzy. The other 2 are in a relationship, and they're. I don't know. They seem like the fun, lovable characters. I don't know. Did you get a different opinion to me on that?
I haven't watched it.
Have you watched it? Anyone watched it?
I haven't seen it, mate.
Oh, don't bother. Honestly. And it's basically about
Girls Night or whatever.
Rough Night, and it's Scarlett Johansson.
The Girls Trip is with Queen
one.
Latifah and.
I want to see that one.
Funny.
When I first put it on, I was like, oh.
So this is the one where in the trailer they kill the.
Yeah,
stripper.
basically, it's 4 of them getting together again because Scarlett Johansson's having her.
Back to Red Party.
That's the one. And you find out a few home truths, like the 2, Scarlett Johansson and her best mate, she hasn't really been inviting her to a load of things and they've lost a bit of communication. But like they're having a meal and Scarlett brings another friend over as well, and one of them does coke, and then they all do some coke, and it's a real like woo party. Then one of them gets a stripper off Craigslist. Stripper comes in, he's acting a bit weird. Then Scarlett Johansson doesn't want the striptease anymore. The bigger lady, I can't remember her name.
Is it the girl from Pitch Perfect?
No, it's the girl.
She's in 22 Jump Street.
Yeah. She jumps on the stripper as he's on a chair, and then he knocks his head and dies from hitting his head on the corner of a hearth. I think that's what it's called. Then there's like they're really cock-handed way. Cock-handed?
Cock-handed?
Right?
Cack-handed?
Cack-handed, that's
Hand and
right.
cock.
Thinking about cock.
Yeah,
Fucking
what time was that? I was joking. Basically, well, pretty much there's a few bits like almost like that kind of thing, and then there's like all these bits where they're trying to get rid of the body, and then it just seems to keep coming back. And when they first really killed the guy, the whole building's like made of glass, so they have to like cover up bits just so no one could see it. And then there's neighbours next door are all sex pests, and they have sex with this woman because they believe that they've got it all on camera, but the cameras aren't actually working.
I thought this was going to be a really light-hearted film, and then that I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, pretty much. And then you find out later that that wasn't actually the stripper.
Oh.
So they've killed a different bloke, and the stripper comes along.
Spoiler.
Yeah, well, don't watch it. That's all I'm saying.
Was it funny?
I didn't find honestly, I didn't find any of it funny.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it was just the state of mind I was in when I was watching it. I was pretty like recovery sesh, but like it was shocking. Like,
Okay.
It
did look
bad.
terrible.
It wasn't. I didn't find any of it funny, and yeah, I just didn't find any of it funny. So I'm gonna give it a solid 3.
3?
Yeah,
Solid
honestly.
3.
Yeah, mate. Honestly, I thought it was crap.
Okay.
Really did. Like Captain Underpants got better than that, and I didn't even rate that. But that's because I'm not a kid.
Okay. Do you want to talk about Captain Underpants?
No, that's right. If you're a little kid, you love it because it's exactly like the books.
Okay.
If you're older, not so much because it's exactly like the books.
Alright. I actually saw a film which, when we saw the trailer for it, we actually were quite looking forward to, but I don't think it ever got released here, did it?
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
not in the cinema.
No, yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, that was Slight. Slight.
Oh.
And that's a film about basically a kid who his parents have died and he's got to look after his sister. And he was gonna get I think an engineering scholarship to some college, but he has to turn it down so he could look after his sister. And he does magic during the day, like tricks and stuff, and gets a bit of money from that. But like he sells drugs at night to pay for his bills and stuff. And he meets this girl called Holly, and like he does a magic trick on her, and basically they start going out and stuff, and she's like coming from an abusive home, and then they get together, blah blah blah. So he is originally like he's okay with the guy from Psych is in it actually, the black guy, I can't remember his name.
Gus.
Yeah, he's in it.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, he's a drug dealer. He's a drug dealer in it, and
I love how you love that bit. You love that bit. He's a drug dealer.
Yeah, because he's like this like nerdy detective in Psych.
but
What kind of drug dealer is he? Is he
so-
a nerdy drug dealer?
so
Percocets and Molly.
what?
What was the first one?
Plan.
More.
All I have with Molly.
Percocets and Molly.
Okay. So yeah, so he's working for this drug dealer, and it's kind of like a quite a cash thing. He's basically just like, oh, I'll give you these drugs. He goes and sells them to like kids who want to party, quote unquote, and then he brings them back and gets his money, and like he's all calm with that. And then suddenly, Angelo is the drug dealer's name. He basically
Angelo.
Yeah.
Quality name.
he basically says like, I need you to be more involved because there's this other people moving in on their turf. So he goes and meets this guy to try and find out who they are basically, and he's basically really good at like sleight of hand things. So he kind of like grabs his phone and stuff like that, and gets the contact details of the new supplier, gives them to Angelo, and he's basically like, yeah, okay, we're going to this guy's house. So then they go to this guy's house, and he gives what's the guy's name? Bo is his name. Sorry, the main character's name is Bo. He gives him a gun, and he's kind of like thinking, oh, I'm kind of getting in too deep, sort of thing. But then they go to this guy's house, they threaten him. Saying like they threaten the new drug dealers, saying like don't move on our turf, blah blah blah. I think a bit of time passes and basically the rival drug dealers are still selling drugs. So then they grab one of them, and Angelo gets Bo to chop off the guy's hand.
Christ.
And he's like, yeah, so he's obviously he asked him to do it, and he's like,
Took a doctor.
he's like, oh yeah, I don't want to do it, sort of thing. And he basically like forces him to do it, and he's like doing it. And he's like crying as he's chopping this guy's hand off. Then he has to like run out after he's chopped off. He runs outside. He's like throwing up and stuff. So obviously you can tell he thinks like this is too much for me. So then,
just a little bit too much. Yeah.
I haven't seen the trailer for this. This isn't out.
No, it's already been and gone.
Oh.
Yeah. So then Angelo basically gives him, I think, a kilo of cocaine, which is more than like he's ever like been given before. And he's basically like, yes, I want you to sell this and obviously give me the money back. So then Bo thinks, he's like, I need to get out of this, but I need enough money to move myself and my sister and his girlfriend like away. So he cuts the cocaine with baking soda, so like to spread it out, so there's like 2 kilos instead of 1.
Yeah.
So then he's selling all that, and then basically Angelo finds out that he's been cutting the cocaine, so he like kind of beats him up a little bit. And he's like, I want the cocaine was worth 15,000, and he's basically like, I want 45,000 by a week's time or something like that. So he's going through all this mess about trying to get all the money up. I think he gets like 36,000 or something like that, and then he tries to go to the bank to get a loan, and they're like, no. I was thinking like, that's surely not the first place that you wouldn't go. But anyway, yeah. So he has to steal from his friend basically, and he uses like sleight of hand to do that too, to like get into their safe and stuff like that. And he steals like 9,000 from them. But then as this is in a club, so as he's leaving the club, he sees the guy whose hand he chopped off, and he's with his mate, so they would like chase him outside. Do you guys care if I spoil this, by the way? Sorry.
I'll watch it, but you can spoil it away, mate. Spoil it,
yeah. Oh no, I like it.
I'm in it. Yeah.
So like, so yeah, these guys are chasing them, and basically they beat him up, take his money, lock him in the boot of the car. So then he wakes up a bit hours later, and he basically does this trick where he can basically like move things that are metal with his hands, and like you first like wondering like, how's he done that? And basically, it's really weird. He's basically like inserted an electromagnet into his arm. So like his arm, in the film, you can see his arm, and it's like properly like messed up, like all pussy and blood and stuff like that. And he's got like electrons in his thumbs and in his fingers, and basically use that to move metal. So he uses that to break free of handcuffs and get out of the trunk. So he manages to escape from the drug dealers who were trying to kill him. So then, basically, it's the deadline for the money, and he hasn't got it. So he takes his sister and he sleeps at his friend's house next door, and Angelo and his mates all come just like mash up his house basically. It's like, where's our money, blah 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 blah, and he's like, oh, I just need more time. Next day, Angelo kidnaps his sister, basically like, give me my money, otherwise I'll kidnap my sister. So he's like, shit, don't know what to do. He goes to his old high school teacher's house, and he's basically like, I need you to help me make the magnet in my hand stronger. And so he does do that, and he goes to so like
it's like X-Men.
Yeah, so when we watched the trailer, I was thinking, oh, okay, he's a superhero.
That's what I thought.
He's got
I was
powers.
going to say that. Yeah.
So, but obviously it's not, because it's just like something he's built into his own hand.
Okay.
So he goes to Angelo's house with his new and improved arm or whatever, and basically he like rips some gold teeth out of some guys, just literally using his hand like Magneto sort of thing. He rips the gold teeth out of this guy's hand.
They magnetic?
Huh?
Gold isn't magnetic.
Well,
gold isn't magnetic.
Well,
yeah, but
fake gold.
Is it real gold in people's teeth?
Well, I don't know. But then some guy tries to hit him over the head with a metal bat. He gets the bat and like hits him with it a couple times and whacks it into a wall. And then Angelo comes and he's like, basically like, where's my sister? And he's basically like, why are you disrespecting me? Blah blah. Goes to shoot him and he stops the bullets with his hands. Then he picks up one of the bullets and basically like almost burrows it into Angelo's head. So it's like, it's basically at the tip of his head, and it's like getting to the point where like
it's just like bleeding.
Yeah, his blood's like coming down his head, and he's like basically like he's like stop, I'll tell you where they are. Tells him where they are. Then Bo gives him the original 15k that he owed him, and then gets his sister, and then sister's girlfriend move to somewhere else. Yeah. Have a nice.
Okay, that sounded really good up until the crazy
Electro.
Yeah.
Sounded a bit like Chronicle. That's what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Is it better than Chronicle? Because I was really hyped for Chronicle, and then when I started watching it, it was alright. And
so it was a good film. Worse. I thought it was alright.
Rating?
6.5, maybe 7.
Ooh, that's not
alright.
too
I might
good.
watch that.
It's okay. Like, it's not. It's not
I got the trailer up.
So you sympathetic to Bo then?
Yeah.
Even though he's kind of shady.
Yeah, because you're thinking like he just wants to.
Wants to earn a bit of extra cash.
Yeah, because you can tell he's a smart kid, and he just wants to like make enough money to get out of the neighbourhood he's in, so his sister can like go to a better school and he can like live in a better neighbourhood. So you can get it. So you get it, but then obviously the bit where he just like decides to cut the cocaine and get more money was a bit dumb.
Bacon soda.
Yeah, but yeah, decent film.
So you saw an old version of Dunkirk.
I did, yeah.
Do you want to talk us about that? We haven't had a From the Archive for a while, so this seems pretty
I don't know what year it is. I'm going to have to quickly research.
It's very old. I mean, it's not 2017, so it can be from the archive.
Have we seen the Dunkirk that came out by Christopher Nolan?
No.
I have.
Yeah, I have.
But Chris,
Yeah, I thought you had, mate.
No. It's cool. Spoiler away. Don't bother me.
Oh no,
this is the old version.
Yeah, this is the old
different
version.
film.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if you wanted to relate it to the new one, it doesn't bother me.
So it's they are a lot of the main segments are not the main segments. There's a lot of things that overlap because the original. I don't know if this is the original film. I can't find the year it was made, but it's set off a couple of books that people have written about Dunkirk and their experiences there. And it's actually I preferred it. It was a black and white movie. I think that acting was a lot better. Obviously, special effects back in those days, it's just like sand popping up, and people are just like jumping on the floor. And they're like, I'm really hurt. I'd really love to see if it actually in colour. I think it would be pretty cool. But it's essentially following. So you've got, I know in Dunkirk you've got three different storylines. You're following the beach, the guys on the boat, and then the Tom Hardy in the plane. So this is a little bit different. You're pretty much just following people on the boats. So they're sailing out past Dungeness, having to go to Dunkirk. But you're also at the same time following the story of a small, a platoon, a group. And they are, what year is it?
1958.
58, yeah. So proper old school. And they've essentially been. So the Germans coming in, but their squad has left and didn't tell them that they were leaving because they were like in the outpost. So they've got to find their way all the way back. And they realise we've got to go to Dunkirk. So that's kind of where the new movie starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where they're like actually in Dunkirk. But I like that because it's the story of this like camaraderie of the soldiers, because they lose a couple of guys, but they're like, we've got to survive, sort of thing. And it's just like the imagery of so seeing these thousands of people on the beach. Even though I don't know in the latest Dunkirk how many extras they actually had, but in this you can tell it can't be graphics. It's literally just hundreds of people in army uniform. Really good though, really good.
Yeah. Do you feel like you had more?
I'm an old movies kind of guy, old man.
You can be a resident old feature film guy.
Yeah.
So did you have more empathy for the characters?
Yeah, definitely.
Because what I didn't like about Christopher Nolan's film was you don't really know anything about the characters. Sometimes you don't even know their name, and all it is like when that kid dies on the boat, I was just like, I don't care.
That's the only kid I remember. Whose name I remember.
Isn't that sometimes maybe the point that these people's lives are so expendable in this war?
I do think that, but I was kind of a bit like I can't relate to any of these characters much, and like I don't have any living family members who have told me about their experiences of the war. So again, on that level, I can't really relate to it. I do understand that a lot of people who died in the war were nameless, but no one knows who they are. So yeah, but there was more kind of relatability to the characters, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely, because and you see it not even just from the soldier's point of view, but you're seeing this guy I think he's started a business and he's making money from the war, and he's got someone in the press and media who's like, you're just what's the word? You're just like benefiting from this war. People
war
are getting
profiteers.
killed. Yeah, and he's like, you know nothing. So you know nothing. Eventually, that kind of like leads that character to actually contemplate and think about his actions, and he ends up going to Dunkirk and he's like saving all these soldiers. So that's like quite moving, and you feel like.
Are the soldiers all British?
In the film?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Because one of the criticisms of the Christopher Nolan film is that it only focuses on the British and like one French guy, whereas I think in the evacuation of Dunkirk there was like French, British, like Canadian, like there were so many different types of soldiers that they just didn't represent.
But how do they know they went from there though?
What do you mean?
Because,
in the film?
Yeah.
Well, because they're
Because they only
just
show
British.
characters.
Yeah.
Speaking.
They-
And they
yeah,
actually,
they
oh,
talk.
so they actually, oh, okay, right.
So you
I
don't
was gonna
know-
say, there weren't characters in the background who didn't speak, who they're
Well,
just
I mean-
assuming because.
But that's the thing that there's no the only focus is on the British characters. So there's, I mean, the extras could have been from anywhere, but there's no
Yeah. Okay. Right.
like.
I mean, in this,
No.
they do mention a lot about the Allies, and they have like a little map of where the Germans are, and
Oh,
like
right.
all the different so like the Allies. So they kind of represent that actually it's an effort from a group.
Okay.
But
Because I feel like the Christopher Nolan film kind of does what we moan about with American films to do with the war, where it's all about America winning the war. Like, okay, no. Whereas this was just like all about Britain, and there was no kind of respect paid to everyone else who's involved. So you'd recommend this 58 version?
I definitely recommend it. Yeah, and I think actually another old school film that I recommended to you guys back in the first few podcasts when we were talking about old movies was Strangers on a Train. And I've got it. I went and bought it, so I'm gonna watch it, and I'm gonna give it to you guys.
Who's in that?
I don't know. It's an old school black and white film again, but the plot is essentially two people meet on a train. They both want someone gone in their lives, so they swap deeds.
Have you seen?
You get rid of someone, I get rid of
Have you
someone.
seen the old like Hitchcock films, like
Yeah.
Vertigo,
But,
North by Northwest?
Birds,
Yeah, they're sick.
Yeah,
They're
man.
sick. Cool.
classics.
I saw a couple of animations recently, which I haven't done for a while. I kind of went on a kind of watching kid-friendly films, and then I was like, oh shit, I need to watch some
Annabelle
horrors.
creation.
So I watched Wreck-It
It's got
Ralph.
kids in.
Has anyone seen Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
That is such a good film. Like there was
Seth Rogen in it. He plays a.
No, it's John C.
character.
Reilly.
It's not that.
That's it.
It's good.
So it's about this guy Ralph, who's like a arcade game character, and they can kind of go through the plugs, and then they go into the plug adapter.
Yeah, it's when it switches off and they all go to like the main area, isn't it?
Yeah, so like the extension lead is like their Grand Central Station, and then each kind of plug is like a different game they can go to.
Cool, man.
And yeah, so the plot is that there's a glitch, a girl who's a glitch in a game, and if she wins her game, then it kind of causes the arcade or that game to kind of be destroyed. And Ralph is kind of fed up with being the bad guy in his game, and he wants to be the good guy, so he kind of leaves his game, goes into other games, and helps the glitch. It was really, really like funny, like really good film, like so many kind of pop culture references, like you got like Bowser, and you've got like all these
Pac-Man
classic
Ghosts.
all these like classic arcade games. It was really like
There's
retro.
a second one coming out.
Yeah, where he
That breaks the internet.
it breaks the internet. It was just like the level of detail they go into with these these films is incredible. I kind of felt it was a bit like sugary. The main land is like Sugarland or something, which is a rip off of Candy Crush sort of meets Mario Kart. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm not going to spoil the ending because I don't know if you're going to see it, but yeah, I would thoroughly recommend that film. And it's a lot better than the second animation I watched, which was Moana. So Moana,
I heard that was really good.
Yeah, people have been raving about that.
yeah, I mean, it got such good reviews, and I was like, all right, I need to watch this. I'm not hugely into like kiddie animations, but I enjoyed Inside Out. I enjoyed
Inside Out.
Yeah, that's the one with the emotions.
I'm sad.
Yeah, remember that?
Oh, that was. I didn't finish watching it.
Oh, I like that, and I thought, do you know what, I'll give it a go. It was a family movie night, so I was like, okay, we'll watch something family friendly.
I love how you go from Annabelle creation to this. It's just like, you're polar.
See, I'm just so diverse with my film choices. So Moana's about, I think she's Hawaiian, but I don't know, maybe she's just kind of Polynesian. And she is the daughter of the chief of this island, and she's fascinated by the sea. She wants to be a sailor. All her kind of ancestors were sailors and explorers, but because of this demigod, who's played by Dwayne Johnson, he stole this heart of the sea from Mother Nature or someone, and that has caused a lot of the kind of Mother Nature to fight back, and a lot of their crops are dying, a lot of their their fish are dying, and the sea's a bit kind of more dangerous. So her father has imposed that no one's allowed to go out on the sea. It's too dangerous. They can't cross the reef.
Is that father the big bloke, isn't it? Or is he a god?
The demigod is Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, okay.
He's not her father.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so then anyway, so she wants to save her island, so she goes beyond the reef to try and convince the demigod to restore the heart back to the sea. I won't spoil it because it kind of seems like.
But she does it.
And it's a film, isn't it? It's a kids' film. but
is it Universal?
It's a PG.
No. Is it a film made by Universal?
Oh.
Will it be part of the Universal?
No,
Pixar,
I think it's
Pixar,
Disney.
sorry.
It's
Pixar.
Disney. It's not Pixar. It's Disney.
Okay, there's a Pixar theory, isn't it? No confirmed.
Oh yeah, no. There is a throwback to Frozen though.
Okay.
Which is kind of funny.
It's clever how these animated films like Disney have just got pretty much. They're going for every country, aren't they?
It is good. It's good to see something other than a white Aryan princess. Like because the demigod says something about her being a princess. She's like, I'm not a princess. Like there's no Prince Charming. There's no love story. It's just her on an adventure trying to save her island. And the animation is stunning. Like the way that they can do water now is incredible. So the animation was brilliant. But the thing that kind of let me down a bit with the film was it is basically the same plot as The Lion King. So there are a lot of similarities.
Not like it then.
Well, but I'm not like The Lion King's a good film, but it just kind of felt like they're recycling a lot of the plot. So like obviously
is it a musical? Has it got musical?
Yeah,
numbers?
it is a musical. So there's a lot like obviously. So Lion King's about an important family member dies, and then that kid so Simba kind of goes away because he feels like he's caused the death, and then has to come back and save his land, right? And he's guided by the ghostly figure of his father. So Moana, her grandmother dies, but she's not to blame for it. She doesn't feel like she's blamed for it, but she's kind of guided to save her land by her grandmother, who appears in this astral kind of presence. So there's a lot of similarities. You got the goofy animal sidekick. I mean, obviously that's played by one of the hyenas in The Lion King. This is played by a chicken, which is hilarious.
Chicken.
Yeah. So there were a lot of similarities,
animals.
which kind of felt like it was kind of lazy storytelling, and also the sea is kind of a what's the term, anthropomorphic figure. So if she falls into the sea will pick her up and put her back on the boat. So it kind of just felt like it was like a Deus Ex Machina. It was like she couldn't really do anything. That she was never really in danger because the sea was always going to help her. And that kind of felt like
Did she have
a bit lazy. No, but the sea kind of chose her to do this mission. So it was the sea was kind of helping her out quite a lot, and it didn't really feel like she was saving things of her own accord. It was like the sea was helping her. So that's kind of
just
to its detriment.
These main characters very lucky.
Yeah, but it was a solid film, but it wasn't as brilliant as a lot of people were making it out to be.
Out of us lot here, who do you think would be? I don't know, imagine we're like a group in a movie. Who's going to be like the smart one? I think we're all going to be like, right, let's think about it logically. What are we going to do? Who's going to be the irrational one and just be like running off?
You.
No, I was going to say Chris.
No, it's definitely you.
No.
Definitely you.
It'd be definitely you, mate.
Right, so
I'd probably be first to die, to be honest.
I'm not going to be one who doesn't leave wherever we are because I just don't want to get involved in nonsense.
Yeah, but see, maybe that's a bad thing though.
Maybe
leaving,
if
like,
I die,
same book.
in the words of what's his face from Rocky, if he dies, he dies. Is it Rocky?
If I die,
Is it Rocky?
Rocky.
What's his face? I want to say Khal Drogo, but that's not his name.
Ivan Drogo.
That's the one. If he dies, he dies, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway.
I think also we should talk about Detroit because you've seen that now, right?
Oh yeah.
Some of you.
Yep, we've seen it.
Chris, have you watched anything?
I actually haven't this month.
Oh, this month.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only 3 days in September. That's fine.
I'd like one
Yeah,
month.
bank holiday weekend though, a lot of movies came out then, and
Yeah.
you were not around. So
Okay, so I saw Detroit which I found out was a preview screening. So I kind of talked about I didn't enjoy it that much. What did you two think of it?
It was really good.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought the middle part was probably like it was like 2 hours and how long? 2 hours.
What part is the middle part though?
So yeah,
because it's
probably like after the first 15 minutes to probably about 10 minutes from the end. That in between there was really good, I think.
Okay, so what about it did you think was so enjoyable? Or
it was quite tense. Like the bit in the
so
house.
like,
I was like,
a lot of movies now are quite. They can still be like 2 hours long, but it's not as. It's no suspense in it, and you don't really feel for the characters. But this is like you really do, and it's like.
And there's like one thing like this is like watching it like this is horrible. Like this is just so like. This is just like so bad. Yeah. And I was watching it thinking like fucking hell.
Will Poulter's quite convincing.
He really is. He's a really good actor. Like to his credit, he's a very good actor. And even like obviously the bit where they get away with it. Obviously, you know that was gonna happen at those in like the 60s or whenever it was, which was a bit annoying. But it was like emotionally, I was like, it got me quite a bit because I was just like these. Like kids, apart from the guy who shot the fake gun, like these kids are literally like, done nothing wrong, and like 3 of them ended up dead, and then the rest of it, like one of them missed out on his dream of singing for Motown or whatever, and then the other two probably just like
Spoiler.
Oh, sorry, man. So
are you gonna go watch it?
The other two are probably just like scarred.
I'm gonna watch it, but none of the spoilers don't matter because I'll probably forget by the time I watch it.
The whole kind of reason, the inciting incident, this whole thing, and I know it's based on a true story. It's the fact that
they didn't portray it very well.
No. He shot a fake gun, and like we've talked about this.
No one said, "Oh yeah, it was a toy gun."
Will Porter and all the police are like, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" And they all say there was no gun.
Yeah.
If they just said, "Oh," and then they say this in the court case, "Oh, sorry, sir, it was a fake gun. We were just joshing around," sort of thing. Like I know they probably wouldn't have.
If it said that and they would be like, I don't believe you, and then they carried on, I'd be like, yeah, cool.
But it's
they didn't find the gun either, did they?
No.
And they never found it.
I think it was still on Eazy-E though, wasn't it? Or the guy who plays Eazy-E.
Don't know.
But I wanted to scream at the screen, being like, fucking tell them it was a fake gun.
Yeah.
Because that's part of it though, that they... I don't know, probably hate the police.
Yeah.
If it wasn't a real story, I would have been like, that's terrible writing.
I thought you meant like the actual start of like the entire riots.
Cause it just kind of like, bang.
Yeah.
We're rioting now.
Yeah. That kind of felt a bit...
Yeah, I didn't get that. And then Everybody Hates Chris died. And I was like, oh, damn it.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for him because he just stole some... Yeah, he stole some thingy.
Was he the guy who
and he
died
shot
under the car?
Yeah, he died, yeah. So,
because
the police chief said... I'm going to get you for a murder charge. He said to Will Porter before he went out and decided to go and kill like 3 more people.
Yeah.
But,
mental. Absolutely.
And I also... So, what did you feel about John Boyega's character?
Quite understated.
Yeah, I
thought he was going to do more.
Yeah. I wanted him to do more. He was just... And again, I know it's based on a true story. But he was so passive. Like, he was... I thought he would have a much bigger part in the film. But he's just...
What time period was this in?
60s.
Was this is still like...
Racism.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it's a bit more passive.
I know. And I know that the fact that it's a true story kind of prevents a lot of things happening. But I wanted him to be kind of like the voice to say this is wrong, like be more active in kind of stopping the police doing this. It kind of felt like he was...
In those days, they would have just shot him in the face.
Yeah.
So.
I know. Okay, for me, what my issue is it kind of felt like 3 really distinct tones or genres, and I felt like it could have worked as either not having the whole subplot about the Motown guy, because I know it's important, but it kind of felt a bit superfluous, and it kind of kept switching between trying to be documentary, trying to be thriller. And for me, it didn't quite work. But how do you feel like that they merged that all together?
I thought it was okay. I kind of get what you were saying about the Motown thing, but only because like if they'd started with that, with the Motown bit, and kind of like progressed into him and his mate going into this situation, I'm like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Or even if like they'd done the Motown bit and then I don't know, like just shown on the news that the riots have started or something like that, then that would have made more sense because then it would have been like kind of like their story sort of thing.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like showing it from loads of people's different people's point of view, so that might did make it a bit confusing.
It was very jumpy.
Yeah, but I didn't mind it. I still thought it was.
I did kind of want to see how the riots were affecting different sorts of people, like maybe a family, maybe like I don't know, elder people, like younger people. It just kind of felt like they took this huge incident and really focused on one particular part of that, and you don't get the context of how it affected the rest of Detroit.
But you wouldn't have got the same feeling for the people involved, I don't think, would you?
I think
like if you was just seeing, so like I don't know if you're thinking like seeing elderly people like for a brief moment, or like having some sort of story around them and a story around like loads of other people in the city at that time.
I just don't know. I kind of feel like
because you feel for like all the people in that hotel. You built, have like this kind of bond with them because they're going through this.
Yeah, experience. I don't know. I just kind of felt like it was underrepresenting. I mean, I don't know much about the event and who it affected, but you kind of feel like if it was affecting this community in Detroit, then you would see different elements of the community. But you don't really see any African American females, do you? Like the only females represented are white women, and so you don't know how apart from the 6 or 7 people that were in that hotel, you don't really see how it affects.
Is it because they've only got it from the perspective of those people?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if it was such a huge incident, like, you want to know how it affects different things. I don't know. That was just my personal opinion. But so you quite liked the film?
I quite liked it.
Out of 10?
It was good.
8.
An 8?
Maybe 7.5.
Wow. Okay, you really like that.
7.21.
It's one of the ones for like.
It's
one of the ones for like for what it is. I think it's really quite good.
Okay.
But I won't go watching it again or anything because.
You wouldn't?
No, because what's the point?
I feel like they missed a trick in the marketing.
Way too long.
In the marketing by having the ROIT of Detroit change into Riot. That would have been sick. I'm available for all your marketing needs.
Glenn Pierce me.
I don't even know what that means. Cool. Well, this is becoming quite a lengthy episode, and I'm conscious of this. So, has anyone got anything else that they really want to talk about?
I was talking about Going in Style, which is the film that I saw yesterday.
Okay.
So that film, that's the one that's you spelled knob wrong. That's the film that is directed by Zach Braff, and it's got Morgan Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin, I think is his name, in it. So that they play like three friends who are obviously like elderly, and
that's the one directed by Zach Braff?
Yeah.
No shit.
Have you seen it?
I've got it.
Have you?
But I
won't spoil it for you then.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, so basically they all worked at this same like factory for like 20, 30 years, and basically the factory is getting moved to a different country. I can't remember what country it is, and so their pensions are all like being dissolved. So that so now they're all going through like money troubles. Michael Caine's character, I can't remember his name. Michael Caine's character is getting evicted from his house, I think, and then the other two live together because they can't afford to be in their own houses. And one of them's Morgan Freeman's character, I think his name is Willie, has got kidney failure, so he needs a new kidney. And then the other guy is just like, he's just like proper grumpy. It's quite funny, but so yeah, so like Michael Caine right at the start of the film, he's at the bank, I think, trying to sort out something with his account. And someone comes and robs it. So then he gets like an idea like, oh, we should rob a bank after all the mess with their pension happens. Like, oh, we should rob a bank. And there's this quite funny bit where, so like, one of them is like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, you guys are crazy. And the other two like want to do it. And then they're like, okay, we need practice. So they go to a supermarket and they try to steal ingredients for whatever meal they were making. I think like chicken cordon bleu or something like that. And they were trying to steal the ingredients and like just watching.
What's the name of this film again?
Going in Style.
I feel like I've watched this.
Have you?
Yeah.
So they've got Morgan Freeman just gets like a whole like pork roast and shoves it down his trousers, and you got Michael Caine like taking like eggs and flour and gravy and all sorts of just stuffing it in random parts of his body, and they try to run out of the they try to run out of the shop, but the other guy who was supposed to be like lookout, he's gone into the shop, but they haven't noticed him. So then they steal this old lady's
trolley.
But yeah, like buggy thing, you know, the mobility scooter. Sorry, this steals one of them, and they're just like the security guys are chasing. They're just like running into traffic, and whilst the security woman's chasing them, and he's like throwing flour and eggs on her. And yeah, they're doing that, and then they get caught because they had to stop at a traffic light before they get hit by a bus, and they just show it back on Keenan from Keenan Kelson. Actually, he's the manager of the store, but they show it back on the security cameras, and they're just watching videos of them like stealing stuff. It just made me laugh. But yeah,
this is like because it's oldies. It's like the hat and garden heist.
Job, yeah.
So they go to, I think, Michael Caine's ex-son-in-law. I think that's the right word. And then so he gives them like tips basically on how to. He connects them to someone who gives them tips on how to rob a bank, and basically like they go through as a practice, like plan it all out and stuff like that. So then they get to the day and they like sort out all their alibis and stuff like that, and they manage to rob the bank. They use blank guns so nobody dies, and they manage to rob the bank. And Morgan Freeman's character, I think, because of his kidney failure, he gets like really like lightheaded, and so like he's like. As they're taking the money, he kind of like faints, sort of thing. And then there's this little girl, and she's like, you like, whilst they're up in the bank, she's like, "Are you okay?" And she tries to like lift off his mask, and she managed to like get off half of it.
Mask off.
Exactly. And then he like pulls it back down.
Mask on.
And exactly. And he shows he's got this like really distinct watch because it's got a picture of his granddaughter on it, and the girl sees it.
Oh no.
Yeah. So they then get away. Then the manager of the bank like tries to shoot him with a gun. The manager of the bank's got like a fully loaded gun, shoots about 12 times and doesn't hit any of them once. And then on the news, he's like, I feel like it's a really heroic act by myself. They must have been very young and agile because they managed to avoid all of my shots. So yeah, then whilst they're like, they're like, okay, yeah, we got away with it. Morgan Freeman goes into renal failure, so he's in hospital. And then the police.
Find the watch.
So the police see the security cameras. They see half of Morgan Freeman's face, and then they see that they compare the security cameras from the bank to the security cameras from the supermarket, and they're like, oh, okay, they're really similar. So we think it's these three old people. So then they like go bring him for questioning, blah 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 blah, and then they like basically give their whole alibi, and it's like really like solid tight alibi, and then they line them all up in the hospital, but they're all in like wheelchairs, whatever. And then they bring in the little girl from the bank, and they were like, "Can you find any of these? Can you identify any of these men from the bank?" And she like goes through all of them, and she stops at Morgan Freeman's character, sees his watch, and like sees his beard, and she's looking at him. And then you're like, she's like, I don't, because she knows it's him, yeah, but she's like, oh, I don't see anyone here. And then the police were like, are you sure? And she was like, yeah, can I go home now? And then she walks out, sees Morgan Freeman's granddaughter because she recognises her from the watch, and she just like smiles at her, keeps walking. I was like, yeah, you're a real G. No, stitches get stitches and all that. So yeah, she fucks off. And then basically, the other guy, the other mate, I can't remember his name, donates his kidney to Morgan Freeman, and then they go under the table, and then it like flashes forward, and Michael Caine and Morgan Freeman both wearing black. So I was like, oh shit, they're at a funeral. So I thought the other guy died giving the kidney. Then they flip around and it's actually at a wedding. He's marrying this woman who he didn't like originally, but now they got married. So yeah, they all enjoy the fruits of their labour.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Happy days.
Funny film, enjoyable.
It was actually funnier than I thought. It was actually it was decent.
I'm sorry, but if you're going to have a plan to rob a bank and a super tight alibi, you think that, oh wait, this watch has my granddaughter's fucking face on it.
Exactly.
Does it have any social commentary about the treatment of elderly people and pensions?
Oh, so, well, not really, but so like at the beginning of the film, I completely forgot about this. At the beginning of the film, whilst the bank's being robbed, one of the robbers goes up to Michael Caine, and Michael Caine's like, oh, you can have, because he's like kind of scared, so he's like, you can have this. And I think he gives him some sort of money. He's like, oh no, we don't take from elderly, we're only taking from the establishment, blah, blah, blah. And then Michael Caine's like, oh, it's good that because they're not taking care of me, because the bank are basically like fucking them over with some sort of policy. So like, I think his mortgage has been like tripled or something like that.
Okay.
And so the guy says something along the lines of, it's the duty of the state to take care of its elderly. And so you find out later in the film, after the money's been like cleaned and stuff like that, that the guy who's been helping them is the same guy who robbed the bank at the beginning, and Michael Caine's like, are you going to take your car? And he's like, no, it's the duty of the state to take care of its elderly. And he's like, oh, it's you. So yeah, that was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a decent film.
You don't expect Zach Braff to be doing... I don't know.
Zach Braff is a national treasure.
yes.
Flipping out.
Awesome. Well, we've covered a hell of a lot today. I mean, we had a huge list of films that we wanted to cover. Covered a lot of them. Maybe next time we can talk about Inconvenient sequel, Wind River, which was our screen unseen. Arrested Development, Wet Hot American Summer, I, Daniel Blake, Selma, Dark Tower, Scandal, Knob. No, that's just you being silly. And Death Note. Has anyone seen Death Note?
Yeah, rubbish. Don't bother.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's Chris's hot take.
No, honestly, they deviate from the. I'm just gonna give you a quick. They deviate from the TV series. Not the same storyline, and the main character, instead of being this like rock solid main, is an absolute pansy.
And they whitewash it, don't they?
Yeah, no.
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 Okay. I thought it was an Asian kind of.
Is it whitewashing
If the characters were Asian and they portrayed them as white.
Okay, was white and black cast in it, but not Asian, no.
Okay.
Were they Asian in the original? That's what he's asking.
Well, it's difficult to depict that because I think Asian cartoons aren't necessarily they Americanise it quite a bit. I think so. I think some people's look at it would be no, they're not Asian. But then I suppose if it originates from, because it's in Hong Kong most of it, so you would say yes, they should be Asian.
Okay.
That makes sense. But I didn't rate it.
Okay.
I don't understand why they went off a tangent. I don't know why they didn't stick to the original storyline. So for me, it's like a 4 out of 10.
All right.
Low scores today, Chris.
All right. Well, so let us know if you've seen any of the films that we've talked about: Inhumans, Logan Lucky, American Made, Annabelle Creation, all that. You can get in contact with us at Twitter at YSC Podcast 17. You can follow us on SoundCloud at Your Average Critics, Facebook and iTunes under the same name. Please give us a 5-star review, follow us, subscribe, share, all that jazz, and tell a friend to tell a friend. And we'll be back next week, hopefully.
Cool.
Peace.
Me and Ollie won't.
Oh yeah, you're in Croatia. Well, enjoy Croatia and watch some Croatian films for us.